England signed 14-year Canadian veteran Bernie Ruoff to help bolster their sagging kicking game. And with time running out last week, they had a chance to either kick a field goal or go for the 6. They have one timeout remaining with 19 seconds left to go. Hairston is covering Hockaday, who's got the inside. Smith, oh goodness, off the net, intercepted. Powell takes it. Powell could go all the way, and he does. Unbelievable.
How many times, Roger, have we heard this season, you can see anything in arena football,
and you usually do.
And you do.
Joe Herring knows that he stole one, and Babe Pirelli knows that he gave one away. Tonight, though, the Steamrollers are back in action against the New York Knights, and they're led by James Krochickia, who so far this year has thrown 19 touchdown passes. He likes to go deep, and when he does, he usually looks for Edwin Lovelady, who's caught 8 touchdown passes this year. Tonight, coming up on ESPN, the New England Steamrollers and the New York Knights. From Madison Square Garden in New York City, ESPN presents Arena Football. Tonight's game is brought to you by your local Little Caesars, where you get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, the taste adults have grown to love. They're great. And by Burger King, where we do it like you do it, too. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Madison Square Garden, New York. Along with former Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Steve Rabel, I'm Roger Twibell. The bad news is for these two teams, they've won 2 games between them this year. The good news is, though, the team that wins tonight is just 1 game out of a playoff spot.
And, Roger, that's the thing pushing both these teams. The same thing they have in common, that they both have a shot at the playoffs. They're very different teams, though. New England, a controlled passing game. They like to run. New York goes deep.
Something's got to give tonight. The New York Knights have not won at home here at Madison Square Garden, and the New England Steamrollers have not won on the road as we get set to go. Cradaville to kick it off. And the New England Steamrollers. Brian Gardner out to the 13-yard line. Offensively, Harold Smith is the quarterback. Cletus Jones, the running back. Jeff Oliver, the tight end. Jim Hockaday, Tony Slayton, Alvin Williams, the receivers. Felton's the center, and Murphy is the offensive lineman. For the New England Steamrollers in the white, the orange helmets and socks, they have lost their last 3 games, including a heartbreaker last week that you saw here on ESPN against Pittsburgh. Smith. Penalty markers down. The intended receiver for New England was Alvin Williams, but immediately a penalty marker, and we don't like to see those things early, do we, Steve?
We have seen a number of them during the course of the season early on, Roger, and especially early in the game. Guys are trying to get the feel for each other. Well, one thing we saw right there as well, New England going deep downfield early.
Offense, loss of down, 2nd down.
So Joe Felton, the center, getting the call on the penalty there, and that backs up New England from the first play from scrimmage.
2nd down.
And New England has had many problems with penalties, mistakes. It's what's cost them a lot of games. As Gardner is the motion man, and you can come towards the line of scrimmage before the ball snaps. The pass intended for Gardner, and over defensively was Vince Corville, number 34. I think, without a doubt, the fastest man on the field. As we take a look at the New York defense, Quentin Knight, and he's one of the leaders in sacks in arena football. Chris Jones and Alec Gibson, Derek Hughes, Edwin Lovelady, the linebackers Stan Hunter, Rex Moats, and Vince Corville. And That's how New York shapes up defensively, and not a bad defensive football team at all. But the best defensive team is the one you're looking at right there. Their problem has been offense this year.
Well, they've made so many mistakes, as you mentioned earlier. Fumbles, penalties have killed them. They've just seemed to find ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Smith, and he's got Hockaday. And the big 6'4" wide receiver from the University of Georgia leans forward to the 20-yard line. That's going to be short of the first down. And that'll bring on a field goal situation for the New England Steamrollers.
Take a look at the replay now with Harold Smith throwing, just finding Hockaday on the turn-in. Hockaday trying to drag a defender for enough yardage to get that first down, but unable to. And now Ruoff coming on for a field goal. Some guys might just try to kick this thing away, but Ruoff, this is well within his range.
Absolutely. Call it a 45-yard field goal. And the veteran out of the Canadian Football League wars misses it. That's a live ball. And it's a touchdown.
New England's going to get credit for the touchdown.
New England got the football. Now, folks, that is a live football in the end zone. The team that kicks the ball has to give the receiving team down there 5 yards. But once it touches that man, and the 5-yard space has been there, that is a free football. And I want to tell you something. Let's take a look at Ruoff again on the 45-yard attempt.
Now 54 inside there in the white jersey. Kevin Murphy is going to be the one to get downfield. But watch it off the net. Now the ball bounces. One steamroller there. That's the man, Kevin Murphy. In on the play, knocks the ball away, recovers it for the touchdown. Great way to get on the board. These are the kind of things that were happening to New England earlier in the year.
Bad snap, and the point after is blocked. Derek Hughes was a man that came through, but that was a bad snap. So quickly here in the opening minutes, the New England Steamrollers take a 6-0 lead.
It's tough for me to stay close to the action these days, especially since I'm used to being the action. But now, I found the best way to stay on top of basketball and all my favorite sports is by reading the Sporting News, America's sports authority. The Sporting News keeps me fully informed and up to date. Puts me right in the center of the action. Whether your game is hoops or hockey, football or baseball, the Sporting News brings you the most coverage and the best coverage week after week. So the Sporting News, no matter where you are, puts you right in the center of the action.
Call 1-800-626-8300. That's 1-800-626-8300 and get 55 big issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of just $7.50. You'll save 75% off the cover price, save 50% off the regular subscription rate. So call now 1-800-626-8300. That's 1-800-626-8300.
Both New England and New York have fumbled the ball more than any other teams in arena football, 18 apiece, and make it 19 now for New York, in a very costly one, as Cordwell's got a handle on that. And the speedster out of Rice, who burned up the United States Football League with the Houston Gamblers, brings it back to the 18-yard line. Krachicki is the quarterback. Derek Hughes, the big running back. Gibson, the tight end. Lovelady, Corville, and Hunter, the receivers. Chris Jones and Quentin Knight, the offensive line for the New York Knights, who, you know, Steve, have actually played some pretty darn good football. They have lost 3 in a row. They've lost 4 of the last 5, but they have only lost by a total of 7 points when you look at it. So they've been really a pretty competitive football team.
Much like New England, Roger, been snake bit this season.
That's Hughes, and New York is going to put it on the ground, and they get up to the 20-yard line. Joe Felton, Kevin Murphy is the nose guard, the man that scored the touchdown. Oliver, Cletus Jones, Jim Hockaday, David Henley, Alvin Williams, Tony Slayton. This is two-way football, folks.
I was going to say, for those of you folks who are just joining us, your first time at watching arena football, and say, weren't those names just on the screen a couple of minutes ago? Sure they were. These guys have to play both ways out here, except for the quarterback.
And New York, one of the few teams to work out of the shotgun, which they do right now. And Corville with the reception He was the Texas State High School 100-yard dash champion in 1979. Steve, you were saying some of the players feel he's faster now than he's ever been.
I talked to a couple of the New York players down on the field before the game, and they say this guy is just phenomenal out there. Greg Best, who is not playing this evening for New York, fine little wide receiver defensive back, said there's no way that he could ever hope to keep up with Corville. Corville, who ran a 10-100 meters and still is a pretty good athlete. 3rd down and 4. Hunter's the motion man. They'll work out of the shotgun again. Krochickia has got Corville. And he's down to the 21-yard line as we take a look at Jim Valek, the head coach of the New York Knights, former vice president of the New Jersey Generals of the United States Football League, and before that with the New England Patriots of the NFL. Spent a little time with Buffalo. This guy's been in a lot of different organizations, knows football inside and out. We've got a couple of coaches, as a matter of fact, who've been on the train. They've worked the circuit a little bit and have a lot of experience, but their first time at arena football. 1st and 10 now as Hunter comes in motion, and they'll go to Hughes. And so on the 1st down here on both series for New York, they have run the football as Jim Hockaday, who is a tremendous offensive player, 2nd leading receiver in the league, and also a pretty good defensive back as well. Babe Pirelli says that Jim Hockaday may be the biggest surprise as far as being a great all-around player for this team. And that's the kind of guy that you have to be in this game, because you do have to play both ways. You got to be able to tackle and catch. Krochickia on 2nd and 8, going deep to Lovelady. And they ran out of space on the sideline, and that's become a bit of a problem. There's only about a foot of out-of-bounds area, and especially when you get into the end zone. And there have been several controversial calls, Steve. Those receivers running the deep pattern and the quarterback just trying to throw it down to a spot. Yeah, there's just not a lot of room down there. As you can see, there's only a yard outside the sidelines, and then you have those walls down there, those barriers, and they don't give very much. When you hit them, you know you've been hit. 3rd and 8. Krochickia got Lovelady wide open. Touchdown. Touchdown pass from Jim Krochickia to one of the great names in arena football, Edwin Lovelady. And those are the 2 main men. We showed them at the top of the show. Krochickia now with 20 touchdown passes and the 9th touchdown reception for Lovelady. Well, Lovelady lined up on the far outside left. That was the bottom of your screen, and he just runs the post. And quite frankly, there must have been a defensive error back there, which is something that Babe Pirelli told me before the game. Killed his team last week against Pittsburgh. Defensive mistakes, mental mistakes. Cradaville, the point after, and that's good. He kicks the ball awfully high, folks. That went all the way over the screens here at Madison Square Garden. And, of course, that's a great deal for the kids here, or the adults here tonight, because the football goes in the stands and you get to keep it in arena football. That should be 7-6, New York leading New England.
Introducing Stanley cordless tools with power that won't quit. Because unlike many other cordless tools, the new Stanley cordless drill and cordless screwdriver are designed with removable, rechargeable battery packs. So the only time they stop working is when you do.
ESPN heats up your summer in and out of the water with Hot Tuesday nights. Each week, pro surfers take you on a ride you'll never forget. Professional water skiers scorch the surface with treacherous jumps, then hit the beach for a potpourri of red-hot fun. Hot Tuesday nights sizzle each week at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Ooh, it's hot.
7-6, New York leads New England. A couple of quick scores here with 7:38 left to go first quarter. The clock runs continuously through the first quarter up till the final minute of the first half, when it'll stop on out of bounds and incomplete passes. Short kickoff right there as Alvin Williams will bring it back to the 19-yard line. Let's take a look at the standings right now. And we mentioned at the top, New England and New York both at 1-6, but 4 teams qualify for the playoffs in arena football. LA is at 3-5, and if New England would happen to win tonight, they play Los Angeles next Saturday night in Providence. And so these two teams are not out of the playoff picture.
Certainly not, even at 1-6 records. And as we said at the top of the program, that's not the only thing that's keeping these guys going right now.
Gardner's the motion man. Hockaday makes the reception. And across midfield, let's call it the 24-yard line. Second leading receiver in arena football. Came in with 44 catches for over 600 yards, nearly 14 yards a catch, 11 touchdowns.
We remember Hockaday and this New England team at Providence against New York earlier in the year, an ESPN game we did, where Jim Hockaday, frankly, did not have a very good game. I'm curious to see whether it was the competition he was playing against or whether he just had an off night, but he certainly has been hot the last couple of weeks.
Second down and 3. Cletus Jones, and whoa. I want to tell you something. Number 28 for the New York Knights, Pat Morrison, 6'3" and 195 from Southern Connecticut State, just ran into 6 feet and about 245. Cletus Jones.
300 bucks.
I don't know who got the best of that deal.
Well, Cletus eventually did come down, and he came down pretty quickly. But Morrison, he's got to be smarting a little bit from a shot like that, too.
Jones has rushed the ball nearly 30 times so far this year. So New England has gotten that phase of the offense, which Chicago has used effectively to move out to a 7-0 record here in arena football.
And we've already seen tonight New York taking a page out of that. I think they may run the ball a little more with Derek Hughes, their big fullback.
And there is Cletus Jones. He just needed to get to the 21-yard line. He's got more than enough for the first down. As Cletus Jones just a little slow in getting up from Florida State University, originally drafted by New England.
You know, the sequence that we showed at the beginning of the broadcast, you see Babe Borelli there talking to Cletus. Babe really took a little bit of heat this past week for continuing to play, to run that clock down before he gave Bernie Ruoff a shot at the field goal, which Ruoff never got because of the interception.
Now, Jones has come out of the game, and he's being attended to by the New England trainer, as Gardner is the motion man on 1st and 10. Hockaday has it at the 6. Hockaday just comes up short at the 1-yard line, but he ran a nice little hook that time, and Smith was looking at him all the way down the field.
Well, if you look at the statistics, Hockaday is far and away the leading receiver for this ball club New England team. Take a look at it from the other side of the field now, a reverse angle. Lots of time. He's getting better protection than he did earlier in the year. And Hockaday makes that step back to the quarterback, makes the catch in his hands, but it takes 3 guys to drag him out of bounds.
And he was still on his feet.
That's right, and all 3 of the others were on the ground. Jim Hockaday, I think I mentioned it last week, reminds me of Steve Watson from Denver.
88, Joe Williams, 6'4", 240 from Grambling is the running back. And I want to tell you something. That was 28 again. Pat Morrison, who really gave him a stick. And New York wants the football.
They're claiming it popped out, but I think the officials are going to mark it down. Earl Sorgan, the
Second down, Rich, second down.
I got to tell you something. Morrison has put a couple of big-time hits on a couple of big backs.
Hey, he's no little guy, though, at 6'3", 195 pounds. You see there a pretty good tackler as well as receiver.
We're seeing a lot of players, Steve, in arena football play Division II, even Division III football. Morrison from Southern Connecticut State. And these guys are proven that they're pretty darn good players as they go once again to Williams. There's a penalty marker down on the far side.
Well, the things that New England has been doing right as far as protecting their quarterback with their offensive line. We're going to get this time Morrison, who tried to stick his head in there a little too soon, was offside. But the offensive front for the Steamrollers, Oliver, Felton, Murphy, Sylvester Bembry, Kim Johnson, newly signed. These guys are doing a good job protecting their quarterback. But now they've got to get some push off that offensive front so they can try to score on these running plays. They're down there inside the 1. They cannot walk away with no points.
Number 28 defense, still second down.
Defensively, New York is the worst team in arena football. New England is the best, but sometimes statistics are a bit misleading. And New England, even though they have the best defense, has one of the worst records.
Their offense has been shaky at best, turning the ball over, giving teams an easy shot to score.
Second and goal, they'll go to Williams again. And finally, at 6'4" and 240 pounds, he plows over the goal line. The only man who had a chance at him was Al Washington, and it wasn't enough.
Joe Williams has got to love it, too, because he's a linebacker by trade. Started for the Pittsburgh Steelers during a replacement game. Big, strong kid. Out of, as you said, Grambling.
And this is the first time this year that Joe Williams has carried the football on this particular drive and takes in his first touchdown of the year. Now, Ruoff to attempt the point after. They had some real kicking problems in the first 6 games with David Jacobs, just 12 points. Ruoff got him 11 last week, and he makes the extra point there, and New England takes a 13-7 lead with 2:36 left to go. First quarter from Madison Square Garden in New York.
Mornings are my quiet time. Afternoons, well, you know the stresses of the workday. That's why I eat Wheaties. If I don't get a good start in the morning, I might feel peaked. I hate that.
Wheaties, 100% whole wheat, naturally low in sugar. That's champion nutrition.
What the big boys eat.
Hold it. Ho, ho, ho. So you're going to finally meet Cindy, huh? Tonight. Good. So first impressions are very important. I think. Okay. Now, imagine. Lights are low, the music's soft. Knock the door opens up. Somebody's out there doing this.
What is this? She's got dandruff?
No, you have dandruff.
No.
Yes, you do.
I shampoo every day.
You could shampoo your brains out with regular shampoo. Wouldn't matter.
Brains out?
Yeah, well, so use that.
Head and Shoulders?
Works for me, my friend.
But you don't have dandruff.
Exactamundo.
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
I want you, when we go back in,
Roger Twibell, Steve Rabel, back with you at Madison Square Garden in New York. New England has jumped out in front 13-7, and Ruoff will kick it off right now. And he has been a valuable addition, Steve. I know the players are very excited about him being on this team.
Oh, he has kept this team up. They've been thinking about the kind of things that he can do. There's another one off the net.
Lovelady takes it across the 5 to the 7, but sometimes it just takes that one player to give you a little hope.
Remember last week, we sat in a meeting talking to Babe Pirelli, and he said, if my kicker can put 10 points on the board, this was 1 week ago, if my kicker can put 10 points on the board, we can win. Well, Ruoff had 11, and New England came within 1 play of winning the game against Pittsburgh a week ago.
Well, the final 3 were, oh, by the way, at the end of the game, and it didn't really matter. And, of course, as you mentioned, a lot of controversies, whether Babe should have gone for the 3 points once they got the ball inside the 10. He tried to punch it in and get the 6. In arena football, it doesn't take long to move down the field, and if you've got a good kicker with a leg, 50 yards is nothing. Here it is. Kerchickia on the draw to Derek Hughes. He's got some room. Hughes breaks another tackle. Fine piece of running by Derek Hughes up to the 23-yard line, and a scuffle at midfield. And the man for the New England Steamrollers, who always seems to be in the middle of that sort of thing, is Sylvester Bembry, number 68. Let's take a look, though, at this running here. Good call. This is the 3rd consecutive time on first down they've run the football.
And as you said, nice call because it's a draw play. Everybody's expecting pass in this game. Derek Hughes, Mr. Excitement, they call him, for the New York Knights, was at one time in the Seahawks training camp, so I had a good look at him. And all he needs is the opportunity to run the ball. He can pick up some yardage.
13 yards in the pickup there. His longest pickup, 15. He played at Michigan State. He's a big man at 6'4" and 230 pounds. Kerchickia, he's got him. Corville, just short of the first down at the 18-yard line. David Henley, the defensive specialist from Southern Connecticut, makes the tackle. As we take a look at it one more time from the shotgun, and New York's the only team that utilizes that.
Not surprised, quite frankly, because this puts Kerchickia back away from the line of scrimmage, gives him a little split-second extra to look downfield. The reason a lot of teams don't run it, quite frankly, is you have 4 or 5 guys that have to play center. That's not an easy snap to make, the blind shotgun snap.
Now, 2nd and short. And once again, they'll go out of the shotgun. Going back across the game. And Lovelady really did a pretty good piece of work right there. He saw the pass was going to be short, so he came in front of Henley, tried to make the catch, couldn't come up with it. So with 25 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And, of course, the clock continues to run here now
Now, that's one time where you kind of wish you had maybe your taller receiver over there. Both Lovelady and Corbell in the area, but both of them 5'9" and 5'10". Stan Hunter, number 84 for the New York Knights, 6'2", 6'3". This is the guy you want to go to on those leaping-type catches. And that'll end the first quarter of play for Madison Square Garden in New York, with the New England Steamrollers leading the New York Knights 13-7.
I tell you, he's gotten goofy.
I like your dad.
Dad, he thinks he's my brother. Last night we were shooting hoops at 10 o'clock.
So?
Marty, this is the same man who never lifts his nose out of a newspaper. Now we listen to Z-Rock on the radio. What is this?
The right vitamin nutrition in a balanced diet helps people get more out of life. Some are finding Kellogg's Product 19, 100% of 12 vitamins and minerals.
I just wish he'd act his age, like your dad.
Feel like 19 again.
Power, power, power. Now, you are playing with power.
Punch Out by Nintendo. 11 world-class contenders. Take them down with your controller, beat them all, and you've got a shot at Tyson's title.
Power.
But for that, you've got to beat Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's Punch Out from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
Breakthrough designs and scientific innovations have raised the level of America's Cup competition throughout the years. Take an historical look at some of the dramatic... Monday night at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
What's the best brokerage account for an active investor? Ask a Schwab customer.
With my Schwab One asset management account, my money's never idle. When I sell a stock or I get a dividend, my cash instantly starts earning income. And it keeps on earning until I make my next investment.
When I need to get to my cash or take out a loan, I just use my Schwab Visa or write a check. Schwab One makes it easy.
All my financial moves are right here. And one simple statement. Now, you might expect to pay a lot of money for an account this handy, but not with Schwab One. There's no monthly fee. Now, that's real value.
To get your free booklet and an application for the Schwab One Asset Management account, call toll-free 800-848-8900. That's 800-848-8900. Call now for your free Schwab One booklet.
Hi there. You looking for Mr. Right?
Give this guy a light. And Bud Light here.
Ask for Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste. Because everything else is just a light.
Thanks. Keep the change.
I know it's a fumble. Here's a look at Rick Cuccinelli, the defensive coordinator for the Knights. We've got him Mike tonight. He's been on a hunger strike since they have been losing. And consequently, he has lost some weight in the process. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Third down and short, a mix-up, and Krochickia is dumped back at the 24-yard line. 98 for the Steamrollers. Joe Felton, one of the players, along with 44, Cletus Jones. And those sort of offensive mistakes have been the thing that have really given the Knights a lot of problems. They are the worst team in arena football as far as first downs. They only have 80 coming into this game. I mean, that's last by a long shot. And there was a good example, third and short, and just a mental mistake. And I'm not quite sure what precipitated it, because Krochickia actually stepped back to talk to Derek Hughes just prior to the snap of the ball and didn't say, hey, you do know what you're doing on this. You know what we got to do, right? Well, they didn't do it anyway. Cradaville now to attempt the field goal. And the 30-second clock runs down now, which will also cost them some yardage. Got to be thinking of a lot of things out there as the quarterback and holder in this situation.
2 more up. Thank you.
Krochickia.
Delay game. Number 2, offense.
One of those things you have to think about is you've got a 30-second clock you have to be aware of. 8 yards in the end zone. That's 9.5 feet wide there, folks, where he's got to kick it through. So 8 yards at the end zone from the 15. 43 yards on the attempt by Cradaville. It's got plenty of distance. That's a live ball now. And
New England will just fall on it in the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 5-yard line for the Steamrollers as they'll put it in play as we've gotten underway here. The second quarter at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Both these teams looking for their second victory of the year. Come on.
Thanks again, boys, and keep the change. You hear all this nonsense about Kellogg's Frosted Flakes being just for kids. Well, I, for one, eat them, and I'm going to go right on eating them. Frosted Flakes just for kids, come on. Like we adults have to go sneaking around. Like we can't love these crisp, sweet flakes just as much as kids. Who is it?
You just have to admit it. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great. You've seen how the advanced full-size Chevy half-ton stands up to Ford. And recently, maybe you've seen Ford's answer. But what you haven't seen is the latest news. Right now, full-size Chevy sales are on a rocket and growing faster than Ford's, which just goes to prove America knows the difference between a hot new truck and a lot of hot air. Make your switch to Chevy now with $500 cash back.
That's today's Chevy truck.
Come on, Chris!
That's Rick Puccinelli, the defensive coordinator of the Knights. They have not won since the opening game of the year in Los Angeles, which was the 1st of May. So, folks, he has been for 6 weeks without solid food as Cletus Jones takes it around the right-hand side. We're seeing a lot of running on first down here so far. And so far, it's been pretty successful. And I don't know, Steve, I don't think it's a bad idea to show that run every once in a while.
I think certainly for a team like New England that likes to throw the football the way they do, as well as New York, both doing a good job showing run, trying to keep the defense off balance.
This is how the scoring went. Murphy recovered the kick against the net. And it was 6-0. Lovelady 19 yards from Korchickia. And then Williams on the 1-yard touchdown run. New England leads it 13-7 on a 2nd down and 6. And penalty marker goes down. Free play. You always take that free play. Alvin Williams with the reception. And 26, Rex Moats, the man that came up on the play.
It was not a free play for Alvin Williams. He did pay for the catch that he made. Play is going to go against New York, however. They jumped into the neutral zone.
Smith will talk it over with Earl Sorgan. Smith this year with 21 touchdown passes, but he's thrown more interceptions, Steve, than anyone else in arena football.
He's a little bit inconsistent, kind of scattergun arm. And
Repeat 2nd down.
We saw, of course, the pass get away from him at the end of the game last year, bounce into the nets.
Here's some of the penalties and the differences from college NFL football. Offsides 3 yards, motion 3 yards, holding 5, zone 5 yards in the first down, and sportsmanlike 8 yards. And defensive pass interference 8 yards and the first.
And remember, folks, this is a 50-yard field here, not 100.
Hockaday and can't quite get it. A penalty marker is down. Hockaday nearly using that height to great advantage. Corville was back there 34 and also 21 Edwin Lovelady.
Tough job, whoever it is that draws the assignment of having to cover Jim Hockaday one-on-one. After he touched the ball. Looks as though it's going to be hit him on the shoulder. Interference. An interference call against New York.
And they're calling it.
You guys all own a rent-a-share condominium somewhere in goddamn New England.
First down.
Pass interference. Defense. First down.
Stan Hunter was the...
make a call when the ball's tipped. I don't understand. He said the contact occurred before the ball was tipped. Why didn't he throw the flag before then? Because he doesn't belong in pro football. That's why.
Hunter was the guilty party. You can tell whose side Puccinelli's on as Williams makes the reception on 1st and 10 from the 20. And let's take a look at 2nd down. Smith, he's looking down to Hockaday. He's just going to throw it high even if he's not open.
Now, and what Puccinelli was complaining about, he said that the ball had been tipped, and so there should not have been an interference call. The call by the official, who was down there on the play, said that the interference, the push came before the ball was touched.
Now, the official that made the call was back down the field about 10 or 15 yards. It was not the official that you saw in your picture. As Slayton goes in motion. And a quick out and a good tackle over there. Boy, Rex Moats has made a couple of nice tackles. Alvin Williams made the catch. And as you can tell, this is an emotional New York Knights defense, and I wonder where they get it from.
Yeah, this Rick Puccinelli, and there you see the fine catch. Boy, was he smacked by number 26, the blue jersey, Rex Moats. Puccinelli, this is his style of play. He coached, was the defensive coach at the University of Louisville for a while. He was the head coach at the College of Marin out in California. This guy knows his defense. He's done a lot of other weird things in his life, like take up rodeo on the spur of the moment. We'll talk about that more.
3rd and 2, and once again, the pass is complete to Williams. And once again, Moats makes the tackle. The interesting thing this week here in Madison Square Garden is that both teams are on the same side of the field. That's the first time we've seen that this year. And that might be interesting before the night's over.
Well, we've already seen a couple of tempers flare out on the field. If they decide to flare in that sideline area, that could be interesting. As Babe Pirelli checks the ready list and says, boy, what can we go to now?
Just over 10 minutes left to go. First half, 13-7, New England with the lead. And Williams the motion man, but they'll go to Cletus Jones, and he's got a lot of room. And Jones is finally driven out of bounds inside the 5-yard line, but not before some damage is done to the padding on the boards inside the 5. And
first and goal.
Boy, a lot of running room that time for Cletus Jones.
Oh, he just popped outside there, and there was nobody around to pick him up. Well, Derek Hughes got cut down inside, and that's the thing you can do. Everybody is accounted for in this game. It's 8 men on 8 men, so everyone is accounted for. If you get a block, if you're lucky enough as an offensive lineman to maybe get 2 guys on 1 block, then you might very well break a big one, as Cletus Jones did that time.
22 yards, that's his longest run of the season. First and goal from the 6-yard line. And Slayton will take it. And might get back to the line of scrimmage as Lovelady 21 and Clinton Knight 65 came up on the tackle. You know, I love to see these wide receivers playing defensive back and defensive backs playing wide receivers and getting to hit and be hit.
The guys I talked to before the game, especially the defensive back types, Greg Best, one who is not out here playing for New York tonight with an injured shoulder, loves it. Loves the opportunity to get his hands on the ball as an offensive player.
Timeout.
And now we're going to get a timeout.
Number 1.
Smith is going to go across and talk to Babe Pirelli.
Well, this is where they've had a problem when they've gotten down inside the 5 and scored. So they're going to talk it over right now, and we'll be back to New York in just a moment.
The boys of summer are at it again. Stay in the swing of things with Major League Baseball Magazine every Monday on ESPN.
Roger Twyble and Steve Rabel back with you. The New England Steamrollers looking to punch it in here with 9:07 left to go in the first half. Their only victory this year came against these New York Knights, and New York won their first game of the year against the Los Angeles Cobras. Harold Smith, the quarterback, on 2nd and goal from the 5. Cletus Jones. And he gets maybe a yard, and that'll bring up a 3rd down situation, and that's something New England doesn't like to see because they're worst in the league, converting on only 15% of their 3rd downs.
You don't think Babe Pirelli and his team really scouted the game last week in which New York really did get blown out by Chicago close through the 2nd quarter?
Come on, AJ!
Let's listen to Puccinelli here for a second. All right.
Chris! Your side!
He knows how to play it. Be aware, Chris, whatever Chris he's talking about for the Knights. Chris Jones, number 50, is my guess. At any rate, I'll go back to what I was saying a moment ago.
3rd down and goal at the 3-yard line. And they're going to give it to Cletus Jones. And he's in for a touchdown. So Cletus Jones, the leading rusher for the New England Steamrollers, has taking in his third touchdown of the year.
And what I was going to say about the running game, last week, the bruiser running back Osei Lewis tied an arena mark with 10 rushing attempts. So New England really looking at that and saying, hey, we can run on this football team. Let's do that. It also saves us from possibly throwing interceptions, which, as you said, Harold Smith has done quite a bit of this year already.
Well, as a matter of fact, the New York Knights allowing over 21 yards rushing a game as the attempt by Ruoff is wide to the right. And that doesn't seem like much, but more teams are starting to run more as the season progresses, and that stat will definitely go up as New England leads it 19-7 in the second.
I'll tell you what, I got... yes, I'd like 2 of those pizzas. Those pizzas? They'll be $17.99. $17.99? But it says $10.99. Not for those pizzas. How can that be? Think if you refer to the fine print. Fine print? Not vendor responsible.
May I help you?
Who are you? I'd like to introduce our corporate attorney. He's here on a regular basis. Oh, I'm not surprised.
At Little Caesars, you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price.
Pizza.
Only at Little Caesars.
You know what really burns me up? My feet. Athlete's foot kept flaring up. I get rid of it for a while, but it'd just flare up again. Finally, I went to the doctor. He told me to get Tenactin. It's what doctors and pharmacists recommend most. Tenactin even cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly like they tell you, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Fast-acting Tenactin puts athlete's foot out for good.
New England leads at 19-7, and this isn't really that unusual because New England has had a propensity this year for jumping out to early leads only to let those leads get away from them as the game progresses.
Much as New York did just a week ago against Chicago.
But New York was indeed leading Chicago, and at one time, what was it, 24-7, 23-7, something like that. Anyway, Chicago came back for a 64-34 victory as New York gets set to put in play. New York, as I mentioned, has won just once. They've lost 5 in a row. In drawing a comparison with New England in their last 4 losses, they've lost by a total of 16 points, while New England has lost by only a total of 7. So really, New England has been in their losses more than New York has, as Krochickia goes right down the middle with it, and across the 20 to the 22-yard line is Pat Morrison, who has shown us some outstanding defense tonight. For Krochickia, he is now 5 of 7 for over 50 yards.
4 catches last week for Pat Morrison. Here he's just finding the open area in the middle of the field. When you're playing a man-to-man defense as you're supposed to be playing in arena ball, remember there are no zone coverages. You shouldn't be, quite frankly, that wide open unless your defensive man makes a mistake.
Krochickia has been sacked more than any other quarterback in arena football, 25 times. And on 1st and 10, he goes for Morrison again. And Morrison to the 24-yard line. And Krochickia is known as the long bomber. He likes to go deep, and maybe he's learned something, or maybe Jim Valek and his staff have learned something about throwing the short pass.
Well, one thing it does do, it does keep you in the game because you keep control of that football as opposed to putting it up for grabs every second pass going 30, 40, 50 yards with it.
2nd down and 7. Krochickia going to the well one more time. Morrison was the intended receiver. And David Henley from Southern Connecticut State, the defensive specialist. And there's one of the fans. They get to keep the football. So this is like a baseball game, folks. Get a foul ball in baseball. And a couple of the New England cheerleaders have shown up here tonight in New York.
Knights Field Crush, I believe, was the end of that banner that they're holding up, the New England Steamrollers.
3rd down. Krochickia, and the intended receiver over there was Al Washington, and a big hit applied by number 45, Alvin Williams. And we talked about New England having problems with 3rd down. The New York Knights really not much better in 3rd downs either. 2nd worst in the league, completing just 26%. So that brings up a 4th and 7 situation now in Cradaville, who tied the league mark with a, remember the field goal he had up in New England, 50-yarder? 50 yards. We'll have one of
And think about that, Brent. A 50-yard field goal is the length of this field. That's from the goal line to goal line.
This is 43 yards. And he got it. So out of the hold of Torchikia, Cradaville knocks it in from 43 yards. And the Steamrollers with a 19-10 lead over the New York Knights, and 4:40 left to go in the half.
Metro Media Paging presents The Unreachables. I used to miss important messages. People said, "You're unreachable." Once my midnight flight was canceled and no one could reach me to tell me. Spent the night sleeping on the airport check-in counter. Next day, I called Metro Media Paging and asked for the Reachable system. It's #1 in the business. This unreachable is now reachable. Pardon me, it's my trusty travel agent.
The Reachable system from Metro Media Paging. Call 1-800-437-BEEP. The days of the unreachables are over.
Every day, Jack Taylor and Joe Donovan take the same road home. But today, they went a little out of their way.
Give you a hand.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser.
This Bud's
For all the guys who go out of their way.
This Bud's for you.
We're back at Madison Square Garden in New York as Cradaville of the New York Knights with a spiraling, hooking kickoff that goes into the stands. And believe me, folks, that wasn't a squib kick. That was just a bad kick, and made that youngster happy as he gets a free football. And that'll put the ball in play for New England at the 20-yard line. Steve Rabel's gone downstairs for our halftime interviews as we have 4 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in this first half. The Rollers leading New York 19-0 as Hockaday, number 85, will come to the near side, and Alvin Williams, 45, split to the top of your screen in 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And they go to Williams, and Williams inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line, where Pat Morrison, who's had an outstanding game defensively, has also made a couple of pass receptions offensively. As we take a look at Smith now, this is just a quick drop. 2 steps. It's all timing. And a good offensive move by Alvin Williams of the New England Steamrollers, who's made 18 catches so far this year, averaging just under 10 yards a catch. So he could be termed the short man in the Steamrollers scheme of things. As the clock now continues to run, as does the 30-second clock, which is down under 10 now. All the receivers come to the near side. Gardner's in the slot. That's Williams in motion. And they go to Williams, who's coming to running back. A penalty marker's down at the 15-yard line. As Williams seen his first action at running back, he's 6 feet 4 inches tall and listed at 237 pounds from Grambling.
Illegal block. Spot on the right.
Earl Sorgan, the referee, conferring to find out what the call is.
Okay, I got it. I'm going back.
Yes, it is.
That's coming out.
Illegal block. Number 45 offense. Repeat, 1st down.
So an illegal block on number 45, Alvin Williams. And let's see if we can take a look. Williams is the man in motion right now.
At the 9:22.
And the official on that side saw it. So the run by Williams is nullified. Williams is a tremendous two-way player. He's already had 14 tackles this year. He's recovered 3 fumbles. He scored a touchdown tonight. He's going to be considered for one of the Iron Man Awards, as will Pat Morrison. As Smith looks deep to Hockaday. Oh, goodness. Well, I'll tell you that is one of the dangers of arena football. You saw it right there. There is little or no room in that end zone. And the receiver, as he should be, concentrating on the football. And that wall, even though it's got 6 to 8 inches of padding on it, really snuck up on Hockaday. We'll take a look from the end zone now. This is simply a corner route. Smith is going to just throw it to a spot. Hockaday's got to get there. He's looking at the ball. Now watch. He turns and bam, right into that. And even though there's a lot of padding, folks, that still hurts more than just a bit. Second down and 15. Gardner in motion. Smith loses it. And Morrison comes up with the interception. Pat Morrison has had himself a whale of a game, and with 2:09 left to go, the New York Knights have a chance to make this thing even closer. That's the first interception tonight of Harold Smith, and we'll be back to New York in just a moment.
Introducing Kodacolor Gold 100.
I see your true colors shining through. See your true colors shining through.
Kodacolor Gold 100 gives you the most accurate colors, the truest colors of any print film.
So don't be afraid. Let them show
A new Kodacolor Gold.
Now at Burger King, get a Funny Out Puppet and Record for your kids.
We're out tonight, we're cooking without.
Each set just $2.99 when you buy a Whopper or large sandwich at Burger King.
We do it like you do it at Burger King.
You're cooking without.
First interception of the year for Pat Morrison, and New York will have it. First and 10 from their own 16-yard line with just under 2 minutes to go, and Krochickia is sacked. As Krochickia, who has been sacked more than any other quarterback in arena football this year, mixing it up a little bit. The man was Joe Felton, who came in and had him. And I imagine when you've been sacked that many times, you're going to get a little bit upset at the defensive players. 89 also in there for New England. And that was Jeff Oliver, as the clock is running now with 1:35. 19-10, New England. Second down and 14. Krochickia just lets it go deep. He's got a man. The intended receiver, Edwin Lovelady, and defensively, David Henley, who is the defensive specialist, and there is a penalty flag down at the 7-yard line.
Right there.
And the clock stops. 50. And a holding call is going to be assessed against the New York Knights, and that's Chris Jones,
Number 50 offense,
who
loss of down, third down.
is out of Delaware State College and was a replacement player with the New York Giants during the strike last year, was in the New York Jets training camp, graduate in business administration and marketing. And the problem is, if you get too many holding calls, you're going to have to put those college skills to use. As on 3rd and 19, whistle, and the 1-minute warning is given to both teams.
1-minute timing rules now in effect. 2 timeouts for New England, 3 timeouts for New York.
So Verl Sorgen indicating that 3 timeouts remain for New York, 2 for New England. And in the final minute of the first half, in the final minute of the game, the clock will stop on incomplete passes and out-of-bounds plays, as Krochickia is talking with offensive coordinator Monty Charles, Jim Valek in the background, and Rick Puccinelli, the defensive coordinator, up front, as Krochickia has a 3rd down and 19 situation. And next Saturday night we'll be in Providence, Rhode Island. The Los Angeles Cobras will take on the New England Steamrollers. Cobras have lost back-to-back games to Detroit. They have 3 wins, and New England with a 9-point lead right now, and if they could hang on, would have 2, and that would be a very, very big football game. And down on the sidelines, Steve Rabel is getting set to do our halftime interviews. And Steve, are you with us?
Oh, Roger, we are here, and we are watching, again, a close coming down to the halftime type of finish as New England lines up in its defensive set. What they want to be aware of right here, certainly, is not to give up anything long to this New York team, which is well known, I think, and we've stated it already many times this game, how often they like to go deep. Even though they've run the ball a few times, look for Krochickia to be looking downfield.
Well, Korchicki has got to move up in the pocket. Now he throws it. And Edwin Lovelady makes the catch. Touchdown, New York.
And trust me when I tell you, Roger, Edwin Lovelady was not necessarily the receiver he had in mind. It was more like, let's throw it down there and see what happens. And Lovelady just made a great move, a great break on the ball.
I think the intended receiver was Stan Hunter. As we're going to take a look at it right now, out of the shotgun, Korchicki has got to move up in the pocket. He does a great job there, and on the run, throws it down. And one of the problems was that Henley went up in the air to try to deflect it rather than go ahead and play the ball. And when he went up in the air and missed it, Lovelady had a couple of steps and made the catch as Cradaville attempts a point after, and he misses it. So with 53 seconds left to go now, that'll make the score 19-16. The New England Steamrollers with a 3-point lead, and now New England with plenty of time. 2 timeouts, and with the clock stopping, they've got plenty of time to get themselves back on the board.
Well, and again, as we talk about it just a couple seconds ago, the one thing New England really wants to be careful of, don't give up a cheap touchdown. That's exactly what they did. I got to believe that those guys up front for New England really thought they had Korchicki a trap. But as you can see, and Roger, as you said, 2 defensive players for New England make a play on the ball and misplay it, and the guy who was there to make the catch is Edwin Lovelady, number 21.
Well, Henley, instead of running back toward Lovelady, he went up and tried to knock it down, and he missed the football, and consequently, Lovelady made the catch. Lovelady and Korchicki now hooked up twice for touchdown passes this evening. The 9th and 10th touchdown receptions of the year for Lovelady, and of course for Korchicki, his touchdown passes this season now at 21. A very high kickoff that time as Slayton brings it out to the 10-yard line, where he's brought down by number 32, Johnny Shepard. Well, that was a beautiful high kickoff, Steve.
I was just going to make the point a couple of seconds ago, Roger, that in this arena, Madison Square Garden, perhaps the highest ceiling of any arena that we will see on the arena circuit this year. And with that high ceiling, finally, these kickers have an opportunity to get some arc on that ball, something that in a number of the stadiums, they just cannot do. So these guys have to be flexible. Some games they have to kick the straightaway shot. Other games they have to kick it high.
Most arenas have a scoreboard coming down out of the middle of the roof. Here at Madison Square Garden, they don't. Harold Smith, he's got Slayton. And Slayton is knocked out of bounds, which will stop the clock with 46 seconds to go. That at the 16-yard line. Slayton's had some injury problems. He missed last week's game with the flu, and he's had a bad left knee, which kept him out of action earlier this year, but he's really one of the best two-way players on this New England Steamrollers team. But as we mentioned, the knee problem, he had the flu last week, and he's just getting back to action right now. On a 2nd down and 4, Slayton is the motion man. Smith to Hockaday. Hockaday had it there in his hands. The ball might have been thrown a little bit low as Stan Hunter, 84, was the man back on the coverage.
And as the players talk to each other walking back to the huddle, Jim Hockaday kind of smiling to himself, and he gets pushed around a little out there by 34 Corville. We've seen tempers flare a little bit in these games, but that doesn't last too long. These guys get along with each other.
2nd down. Excuse me now. 3rd down for New England, and this has really been a difficult situation for them. They've only completed 15% of 3rd down plays as Slayton was the motion man. Smith going deep. Hockaday off his fingertips. Might have been a little bit of contact, Steve, down around the goal line from Hockaday. Looked like he might have just given Hunter a bit of a shove.
He might very well have, but we have a flag back at the line of scrimmage, and I tried to read the official's lips and was unable to do it. Number 98, the call is going against a hold down here.
Number 98 offense, loss of down, 4th down.
That's Joe Felton, number 98, from Albion College in Michigan. 6'2" and 265 pounds. And this will bring on Bernie Ruoff. And Steve, before the game, we saw him make a field goal from the goal line warming up. This one's going to be 4 yards shy of that.
Little too much hook in it.
And off Corville's hands, but with 29 seconds to go, the New York Knights now with an opportunity maybe to punch another one in and take the lead here before halftime.
I'll tell you something else we saw Ruoff doing down here prior to the game, and that is drop-kicking the ball and doing a very good job of it. This guy has played rugby, and rugby players do kick the ball on the move. So if we're going to see perhaps a drop kick before this season is over, it may be a guy like Bernie Ruoff. One other point I wanted to make while I'm down here, Roger, and you'll appreciate this because you were an offensive lineman. We had an offensive holding call just a couple of seconds ago. Those guys are really getting in there and grabbing each other. You can really see it from down here on the field, grabbing that jersey.
Krochikia goes short to Corville, and he'll step out of bounds. Good play. That gets it up to the 10-yard line now with 24 seconds left to go. One point we should mention about the drop kick, and that's one of the aspects of this league, Steve, that I think a lot of people were very interested in seeing, is that it's very hard to drop kick the pointed football of today.
Sure, the old-time football back in the days when you played, much more round, flat on the ends.
No, that's when Chet 40 played.
Oh, that's right. Timeout for New York.
New York wants a timeout. Let's take a look at the field goals here. First 6 games, David Jacobs. Hey, a great guy, a real character, been around for a long time, but only 2 out of 20. Ruoff, 3 of 7. So already, as we mentioned, a lot more point production. 12 points out of their kicking game in their first 6 games, and 11 points last week from Bernie Ruoff, who made no bones about it. Got his free agent papers up in Canada so he can make himself available to the NFL, and this is a good way to showcase his talents this summer.
And a real veteran. I mean, he's 8-10 years older than a lot of the guys that he's playing with on this New England team. Many of these guys, young fellas just out of college, looking for a chance to pick up a few dollars.
Matter of fact, Rabel, I would bet he probably graduated from Syracuse the same time you got out of Georgia Tech.
No, I think he's a little older than that, quite frankly. I may be mistaken.
Now, New York, after using the timeout, 2nd and 5. And Krochikia has done a much better job of throwing underneath the coverage tonight. And that's one of the things that's been lacking. He fakes short, and then he goes back and goes short. And the intended receiver was Pat Morrison. And I think the double pump might have thrown Morrison off his route. And you got to remember that these defensive backs, Steve, are not really that adept at running the pass route, or when there is a breakdown, what exactly they should do at that point in time.
Right, you know, as a receiver, it's drilled into you over and over again as a young receiver that you have to be prepared to come back to your quarterback, find that open seam, and get back to him in case he gets himself in trouble. Sometimes it's tough to teach that to somebody who has never done it before.
3rd down now, and 5, 21 seconds left to go first half. Hunter, the man in motion. Krochikia has Hunter. And Hunter finally gets out of bounds at the 21-yard line with 14 seconds to go. And, Steve, it looked like Hunter wanted to take it on up the field instead of getting OB.
And really not a very smart thing to do, because with the time situation the way it is inside the last minute, you want to get out and save that clock. Go ahead, go out of bounds. Besides that, he took a wicked shot as he was being pulled out.
Hunter from Bowling Green, 3rd leading receiver on the Knights, but when he catches them for more yardage than anyone else. Nearly 20 yards of reception. On a 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line, 14 seconds left to go, and Hunter's in motion again. Pump fake. Going deep to Lovelady, and he can't get it. Slayton, 27, Henley, 46. Both back deep.
Second down.
The New York Knights trailing 19-16 with 9 seconds left to go in the half. And last week against Chicago, led 26-10. In the second quarter as New York takes another timeout, and then only trailed 31-26 midway at halftime. And so the second half has been a bone of contention for Jim Valek. The final score 64-34 in that game, and of course Chicago played that game without Billy Stone, one of the top two-way players in arena football. But that's been a big problem, not only for the New York Knights, but also for the New England Steamrollers. Production in the second half. Both these teams have been outscored in the second half by a considerable margin. The New York Knights have been outscored 139 to 91. And the New England Steamrollers 137 to 100 in the second half. So whether it's injuries, Steve, or whether it's conditioning, I've got to lay the fact maybe a little bit more on injuries. Both these teams have been hit pretty hard by injuries this year.
Sure, and when you are hit by injuries, obviously, then the conditioning factor comes into play because you've got some guys out there who are fairly tired. There you see the angle now, what we can see down here on the field. And again, it's altogether different from down here.
9 seconds left to go. Krochicki is nailed, and Hunter's nailed. And Hunter is out of bounds with 2 seconds left. And Krochicki, who's taken more hits than any other quarterback in the league, and Hunter, who's taken 2 or 3 good solid hits here in the last minute or so, is down at midfield. And with 2 seconds left to go, we're going to take a look at Hunter. He's the motion man. Once again, you can break toward the line of scrimmage before the ball is snapped in arena football. Look at Krochicki gets nailed, and then Hunter, and Steve, that was right on his hip. That could be a hip pointer.
And I'm trying to see if it's Hunter or Morrison now that's down on the ground, Roger. It's tough for me to tell at this angle, but yeah, you're right.
It's Morrison.
It is Morrison.
Yeah, it is Morrison.
Right in the kidneys. It was a wicked shot. Now, Krochicki is going to take one here as well. Krochicki has got a terminal cut on his chin, and that's why, because he's always taking a forearm to the face as he releases the ball. But quite frankly, I think both offensive fronts have done a pretty good job protecting our quarterback today, and one of the reasons is both these teams have come out showing run.
If we can see that replay again, Krochicki gets hit by his own man as he comes by trying to make the block. Pat Morrison, number 28, is the player down. Morrison's had a great first half both ways, and I would say Steve would be in contention for our Little Caesars Ironman award. Hopefully he'll be able to bounce back. There's a look. Pat Morrison, 6'3", 195 from Southern Connecticut State. That's up in the New Haven area. If you folks are familiar, had 8 tackles and 2 assists against Chicago, and also had 4 receptions for 35 yards last week, and made his debut, if you'll remember, in our game against New England on May 21st. But very slow in getting up right now as we have 2 seconds left to go in the first half. And let's check out the scoring here. The game opened up in the first 3 minutes. An unusual play as Murphy recovered the kick off the netting for New England, and it was a 6-0 lead. Then Lovelady from Krochicki, 19 yards, and the point after by Crowderville was good, 7-6 New York. And then Williams on the 1-yard touchdown run, just his 3rd rushing attempt of the year. Jones, a 3-yard touchdown run. Cletus Jones for New England, that was 19-7. Then Crowderville, the 43-yard field goal. Lovelady, a 42-yard touchdown pass from Krochicki, and that's where we stand right now, 19-16. And Crowderville is already out on the field, so they will attempt a field goal here to try to tie it up as Pat Morrison with his hands on his ankles. Steve, is there a worse injury than a hip pointer?
It's pretty painful, Roger, but having had my nose broken 3 times, you don't think I was born with this thing hanging out the front of my face. Having it broken 3 times...
I didn't want to say anything, but
I don't know of many injuries that are more painful, really, than a broken nose. But, yeah, you get hit in the hip or in that low back in the kidneys, and, you know, you just can't stand straight, you can't run. At least you can play with a broken nose.
So Morrison comes off the field. Take a look now. The arena football, 9 feet, and the NFL, 18.5 feet. Crossbar height, 15 feet. The NFL, 10. You know, Steve, I'm tempted to believe that the 15 feet in height, that helps a little bit. I mean, not that the 9 feet's any bargain, but I think it helps to have it 15 feet high.
I don't disagree at all.
Field goal attempt now of 43 yards. Crowderville off the top, and that's going to be no good. So Crowderville misses the field goal attempt to end the first half of play here at Madison Square Garden in New York. And the New England Steamrollers will leave at halftime with a 19-16 lead. As you take a look at Babe Pirelli, legendary coach who has participated in just about every professional type of league there has been. in the world of football in the last 30 to 35 years. A great player for Bear Bryant at the University of Kentucky. Conferring right there with number 98, Joe Felton, maybe talking about that holding call that Felton had. There's a look at Tom Raftery. Raftery had a bad hand last week, a broken hand, is continuing to play this week with the pain. And right now, let's go down to Steve Rabel.
All right, Roger, we are with Cletus Jones, the fullback for New England. Cletus, you came out and you ran tonight. Now, both teams seem to be running. This is a league that we think passing is the only way to score, but both teams are running. Why?
But that's the big difference. You know, that's what people think. You know, they don't have no idea. So we got running backs in this league that can run the ball. You know, they've been holding me back a little bit, but, you know, all I was doing is just blocking. And finally, coach is letting me get a little loose now.
So you are really pretty thankful for the opportunity to get out here and get a chance to carry the ball.
Of course, you know, I'm always thankful to carry the ball, you know, because I'm always constantly, you know, blocking.
Now, you like to run the ball. You've got that. What about the two-way aspect? Now, you're also playing linebacker as well.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard on your body, you know. At the end of the season, it's kind of, you get those little nagging injuries, and it's kind of hard, you know.
Okay. 4 bowl games when you were in school down in Florida. Fine running back. What is the big thing that you enjoy about arena football most?
Well, basically, you know, that you play both ways, and you get to hit the guy that hit you. You know, really, that's the most fun comes out of that.
Both teams now 1-6. What do you got to do to get this thing on track? Obviously, start with a win tonight would help.
Exactly. We got to win this one and come back and win the next game for next week.
All right, Cletus, many thanks. Appreciate it. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Steve.
Cletus Jones, fullback from the New England Steamrollers, and let's go back upstairs to Roger.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. At halftime, the New England Steamrollers lead the New York Knights 19-16.
Weather log,
Weather wood, Eastwood movies.
A handful of money.
Just full of dollars.
Oh, no.
Hang 'em high.
Lucky Jack. Thunderhead and...
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
You win these Clint Eastwood titles only $19.95 from MGM UA Home Video.
MGM UA Home Video presents Whoopi Goldberg
Does that come in adult size?
and Sam Elliott in Fatal Beauty. Rent it now on video cassette.
Since you don't buy a refrigerator every day.
I finally got a Frigidaire.
Ask for the one that lasts and lasts.
I should have bought a Frigidaire. I finally got a Frigidaire.
For the Frigidaire dealer nearest you, call 1-800-451-7007.
I'll take a Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire, here today, here tomorrow.
School is out for summer, but the fun continues on Scholastic Sports America. We'll be taking a look back at some of our favorite faces and places of the past every Wednesday on ESPN.
Hi. I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports. There's scenes where Daryl Dawkins renovates NBA backboards.
That's a fantastic video. The all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports is 45 minutes of the funniest film I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No store has this version, but you get it free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. You get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Preview, the beautiful swimsuit issue, the Summer Olympic Special issue, the commemorative Olympic pin set,
And the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all. Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number, and you'll get SI for over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $9.89 each. You can even use a credit card.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-777-2100.
Hi, have you heard of a video cassette called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
Tim Brando back at our Sports Center, and we should mention at halftime of Arena Football, it is 19-16, the Steamrollers of New England leading the New York Knights. Well, it was not your usual day at the U.S. Open, and what normally happens when we mention that, well, that means it's a strange man that's in the lead, and we're going to show you exactly why it was a strange day. The clouds darkened part of the course, while the other course, the other half of the course was sun-drenched, and then there was Curtis Strange on number 3. Look at this. With a 7-iron approach from 175 yards out, finishing cozy to the pin. Strange birdie here to go 6 under par. The other player in this twosome, Bob Gilder, strokes in a long birdie on the fourth to tie Scott Simpson to the lead at -7 at that point. Now, after Strange and Gilder cleared the green at 4, Mize with an approach. That set up a bird and got him a share of the lead. Gilder ran into some trouble on 5, but watch this. 50-foot par effort with an estimated 10 to 12-foot break. It falls for Gilder. It was his day. Now, when Simpson played 5, he wasn't so fortunate. From the deep rough, Simpson's iron shot goes up, but must come back down in the deep, deep stump. Simpson would make double bogey here to fall off the lead. Now, after Strange birdied 8 for a share of the lead, he birdies the 9th for the outright lead at 8 under. Following a suspension of play due to rain and thunder and lightning, Gilder curls in a long, long birdie at number 14. Just another thing of beauty in this very strange day at the U.S. Open for him. It shared the lead with Gilder's euphoria, though it must have been short-lived, as Strange birdies on top of Gilder's ball. Curtis goes to 9 under par, back in front. Strange then faltered on 16 and 17, while at 18, Nick Faldo, the Britisher, gets it done to move 6 under. He, Simpson, and Gilder just a stroke in back of Curtis Strange, who had a 69 on the day to take a one-shot lead. And so that's the rest of the leaderboard at the U.S. Open. On to baseball now, where we bring you up to date on what's been going on in both the American and National Leagues, beginning in the American League, where Boston, behind the Rocket Man, you remember he was pounced by the Yankees. He comes back with a shutout, 5-0 over the O's today to claim his 10th win of the year. New York, the Yankees had a half-game lead going in. They'll hold on to it. They beat Cleveland today, 6-3. Winfield with the big blast in that game. Toronto loses to Detroit, 6-1, so the Tigers remain a half game out. Terrell was the winning pitcher in that game. Oakland does it again in 13 innings. They played 27 innings in 2 games, and Oakland has won both by a 1 run. This time, Gene Nelson, the winning pitcher in that one. And California and Kansas City, that game now tied at 3. Moon Mitten has just come into the game now for the Halos. Meanwhile, Chicago and Milwaukee, the Brewhas, with a 5-0 lead in that game. Jeffrey Leonard with a first-inning single, the key blow there, the 1,000th of his career. Seattle and Minnesota, 4-0 now. The Twins are leading it at the Homerdome. Meanwhile, in the National League, San Francisco loses to Cincinnati 3-2 at Riverfront. Montreal and Chicago, 3-0 to score there. The big story, Greg Maddux, the first 12-game winner in the Major League. San Diego, Los Angeles, 3-0 the Dodgers. It's a shutout for Belcher. He got a lot of help, though, from Orozco and Howell. New York and Philadelphia, that game now tied 1-1 into the 10th. Randy Myers and Bedrosian are on the hill now, respectively, for those clubs. St. Louis and Pittsburgh, the Cardinals have a 6-2 lead. And the big blow coming in that game for Van Slyke for Pittsburgh, a solo shot. And Houston and Atlanta, the Astros still behind the Braves by a score of 4-3, and they are trailing the Dodgers by a couple of games in the National League West. We will be back with more on this Sports Center halftime update in just a moment. Our score in the Arena Football Game of the Week. The New England Steamrollers 19, the New York Knights 16.
Check out time, Garfield.
Check out.
Embassy Suites Hotel was a great idea, huh? We got a 2-room suite with a wet bar and a refrigerator.
So what's the big rush?
And all for about the same price as a room in most Marriotts or Hyatts. There's even a free cook-to-order breakfast every morning.
Delicious.
What a great place to do business.
That settles it. We're staying.
At Embassy Suites Hotels, you don't have to be a fat cat to enjoy the sweet life.
No, but it doesn't hurt.
The test of a great airline is not just how fast it moves you in the air, but how fast it moves you on the ground. That's why at some of the busiest airports in the world, United Airlines offers you the most advanced baggage systems, faster ticketing and boarding procedures, and the most spacious, convenient, efficient terminals in the business. United Airlines. From the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
I tell you, he's gotten goofy.
I like your dad.
Dad? He thinks he's my brother. Last night we were shooting hoops at 10 o'clock. So? Marty, this is the same man who never lifts his nose out of a newspaper. Now we listen to Z-Rock on the radio. What is this?
The right vitamin, nutrition, and a balanced diet helps people get more out of life.
summer finding Kellogg's Product 19, 100% of 12 vitamins and minerals.
I just wish he'd act his age, like your dad.
Feel like 19 again.
Presenting the G-Shock watch from Casio. The water-resistant sports watch that's ready for action. With a built-in shock absorber. It's tough. So tough, this G-Shock can take a slap in the face and not even flinch. The Casio G-Shock, one tough watch to beat. The G-Shock is only one of Casio's unbeatable high-tech products.
The Wimbledon Championships begin tomorrow, and the times in tennis, well, they are a-changing. There obviously are some of the same names that we've heard from the past, but new names at the very top of the seating in both brackets for men and women. Eric Clemens has more.
The last man to win a Grand Slam title was Rod Laver, who accomplished that feat back in 1969. He also did it in '62. And the focus this year is on Sweden's Mats Wilander, who won it all at the French Open over countryman Henri Leconte and seeks to join Laver on the men's Grand Slam list, but he's never reached the semifinals at Wimbledon. Now, Steffi Graf was only about a year old when Margaret Smith Court played her way into the last ladies' Grand Slam title back in 1970, but she certainly has a shot at joining Court on that list this time around. She destroyed Natalia Zareva in the finals of the French Open, but will have to get through Martina Navratilova to make it to three-quarters of the Grand Slam. Martina seeks her 7th straight and 9th overall Wimbledon singles title. There's also Gabriela Sabatini of Argentina, who's beaten Graf twice already this year. And three-time champion Chris Evert is coming off an Achilles heel injury, but if she's healthy, she'll be a threat. On the men's side, Wilander has plenty of obstacles in his way. Defending champion Pat Cash upset Ivan Lendl here last year. Lendl, the top-ranked player in the world, has never won at Wimbledon. And don't forget Boris Becker. The youngster swept the crowd away with his hustling diving style, good enough for 2 straight championships in '85 and '86. And how about the Americans? 3-time champ John McEnroe seems to be getting that old fire and desire back of late. And Jimmy Connors, the 2-time champ, would love to put a 3rd singles title on his trophy case. A foot injury caused him to miss the French, and he hasn't reached a title match here since 1984.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. By the way, he will be joined, Eric Clemens, with Cliff Drysdale tomorrow on This Week in Sports beginning at 10:30. All right, let's get you back to arena football now. Roger Twibble and Steve Rabel in New York.
We're at halftime at Madison Square Garden in New York. New England leads New York 19-16, and let's go down to Steve Rabel.
All right, Roger. Down here with Edwin Lovelady, wide receiver, defensive back for the New York Knights. Edwin, first of all, what'd you talk about at halftime? What does New York have to do to stay in this ballgame with New England?
Well, basically, we just went in the locker room talking about scoring and hold them to two or three plays on the offense. Just hold them.
You were telling me before we went on the air that the problem with this game is one mistake by somebody in the secondary and a touchdown. I mean, it's over. It's history.
Yeah, the game the field is so small. If you make one mistake, and the game is just blown out of proportion then.
All right, take a look at the highlights. Now, you had a couple of touchdown catches in the first half, and let's take a look. Tell us what happened. Number 21 in the blue jersey.
Okay, the first touchdown, it was a way out, and I had a flag. But I read the defense ran a post, and the critique said, "What'd you run?" I said, "I ran a post," and just threw it to me.
Well, he was, I guess, lucky to be able to find you. Now, watch this. A great catch by Edwin Lovelady.
Okay, I think, yeah, this is the second one. That was a bust, to tell you the truth. And we just ran, and he just threw it. He was scrambling, and just threw the ball deep.
And as you were saying, the guys from New England, mistake, and all of a sudden, they get beat for a touchdown.
That's how it is. The field is so small, and the game is so fast. One mistake, and it's over.
Edwin Lovelady, go back out there. You got a second half to play. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Roger.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. The leading receiver for New York and their 5th leading tackler, Edwin Lovelady, personifies arena football. Great two-way player.
You know, that was a smart move.
You mean renting that budget one-way truck?
I can't believe how much we saved.
Well, budget doesn't charge you for round trip, just one way.
And their rate was low to begin with.
You know, it was kind of fun driving that truck.
Yeah. Air conditioning, stereo.
Automatic, power steering. It's better than our car.
Really? And to top it off, we got $50 off.
Yeah, just by calling budget and mentioning arena football.
Yeah, that budget one-way truck was the best move we ever made.
This is where Michael Jordan kept practicing his jump shot when he didn't make varsity. This is where George Brett kept fielding after his team lost the state finals.
While
And this is where Walter Payton played every game his freshman year as a drummer in the marching band. What do these legends have in common? They've always had a will to win. And they've always had a Wilson.
This year, my son and I took some time to photograph the beauty of nature. I took pictures, he took pictures. Then naturally, we looked for the Kodak Color Watch seal for great developing. The Color Watch seal means that Kodak system checks the developing for great color, and every print is on Kodak paper. But a father and son see things differently. This is my idea of natural beauty, and this is his. The Kodak Color Watch system. You're going to thank me for it. Of course, he's single, see? And
Gillette has changed the face of shaving. First, we made it closer. Then we made it smoother. Atra Plus. Its Lubra Smooth Strip actually releases lubricants to glide the razor more smoothly. Incredible smoothness from the first stroke to the last. The Atra Plus system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
1916, New England leads New York at halftime, and Pat Morrison was not supposed to come back, but has told head coach Jim Valek that he wants to play and will be ready to play. Had a great first half, both offensively and defensively. Ruoff to kick it off for New England, and Corville will let it bounce through the end zone, and New York will have it first and 10 from their own 5-yard line in this very important game. I think it is safe to say here, each of these teams with just one victory, the loser tonight, will definitely not get a playoff bid. As we take a look at the halftime statistics, 8 of 14 New England, 10 of 17 New York. Couple touchdown passes, of course, for New York. Passing yards, big difference right there. Penalty yards just about the same. Field goals 0-2, 1 of 3. And the one turnover for New England, the big one. The ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line because it went out of bounds as Prochicchia. And a flag is down. Lovelady, the intended receiver, wide open over there was Alec Gibson, the offensive lineman who is eligible, and Prochicchia never saw him. As Earl Sorgan will confer with his working mates. And that's going to be offensive interference on New York. A couple of things interesting to note.
Pass interference. Offense. Lost it down. Second down.
As we take a look at it again, Gibson is 82. Now, he's an eligible offensive lineman. Prochicchia wanted to go right, coming back around. And the flag is thrown, and the penalty is going to be against Lovelady. In the 22 games played during arena football this year, there have been over 1,600 points scored. That's an average of 75.4 points per game. On the draw play, it goes nowhere. 32, Johnny Shepard. And all of a sudden, the Knights, who had great field position at the 20, with a penalty and now a bad call, they're back at their own 11-yard line, and this has been the problem with the New York Knights. They simply self-destruct. Getting back to those stats, in those 22 games, the winning team has averaged over 45 points a game, the losing team 30 points a game. So about a 15-point differential between the winners and losers. As Hunter comes in motion to the near side on third down and 19, penalty markers go down, and Prochicchia just kind of throws it up for grabs. And Prochicchia pointing to one of the defensive players as Earl Sorgan sets it down.
Offside. Offense. Penalty declined. Fourth down.
So offsides on the New York Knights. And their problems continue. Just a lot of mistakes. They really hurt themselves more than the other team hurts them, as there is no punting in arena football. So Cradaville, who has made a 50-yard field goal, will put this down. You're looking at 49 and 8, 57 yards. And Slayton will take it about 4 yards deep. And gets it out to the 9-yard line, where number 82, Alec Gibson, and number 50, Chris Jones, come up to make the tackle. So after good field position for New York, they can't do anything with it, and New England will now get their chance for the first time in the third quarter.
Somewhere, right now, there's a clean, crisp, ice-cold, beechwood aged Budweiser with your name on it.
May I point out our special offer, 2 pizzas for the price of 1.
Oh, thank you very much.
Excuse me, your shoelace is untied.
Oh. Yes, I'd like that 2-for-1 offer.
I'm sorry, that offer has expired.
But I just bent over to tie my shoelaces.
He did. He bent over.
There's nothing I can do.
Show him your shoelaces.
Some pizza places have temporary 2-for-1 offers. At Little Caesars, you always get
Pizza, pizza.
2 great pizzas for 1 low price.
Roger Twibell and Steve Rabel back with us as we keep Steve in shape every week by running up and down the stadiums around the league. You heard Rick Puccinelli, the defensive coordinator for New England, or for New York in the background, as Smith goes back. Going to Hockaday, Hunter was defending. Also on the near side was Alvin Williams, and Williams not much of a chance of getting the football. There's a good look at Hockaday. He's 6'4", about 205 pounds. Played collegiately at Georgia, where you don't get a chance to catch a lot of passes. Caught only 35 in his career, but started out as a defensive player, so has maybe a knack for playing this two-way game.
Yeah, had a little USFL experience, but as you said, he's got more blocking experience probably than anything, playing down there with Vince Dooley at the University of Georgia.
Steve, if New England would win this game, and they have L.A. at home next week, they play 4 of their last 5 games on the road, so it's essential. They have not won yet on the road this year. If they can get this one and then maybe get L.A. at home, and all of a sudden they're in the playoff picture. But I was mentioning while you were gone, as Slayton makes the reception and some complaining going on over there by Johnny Shepard, the team that loses this game tonight, I think for all intent and purposes, can kiss this season goodbye.
Yeah, and what do you do as a coach if you're either Jim Valek or Babe Perilli, if in fact you lose tonight and you've got to try to keep these guys up and getting ready week after week? And remember, while the pride of winning is on the line, just like in the other pro football arena, there is playoff money on the line too, so there's a lot of reasons to keep playing. 3rd down and 3. Williams takes it at the 20-yard line. Well, we just saw a good shot of the right side of the offensive line for New England, and we've had a lot of holding calls this year, and I mentioned a while back, I wonder when the leg whip is going to come in, and I just saw a beautiful leg whip executed by Jeff Oliver, number 89. Jeff is the designated receiver-type offensive lineman, the tight end / offensive lineman, and also plays defensive line as well.
More known as the defensive player than an offensive player.
Sure. But keep your eye on him because he can sneak out and catch passes.
He's pulling that time as Cletus Jones has it inside the 20, and it's down to the 17-yard line. It's going to be real close to a first down. You ask Cletus Jones, you must be happy about carrying the football. I mean, that's what a running back lives for, is to carry the football. And he's had a great night so far.
And again, as we talked about last week against this New York team, Chicago ran the ball 10 times, tied a league record with that. New York gave up 4 rushing touchdowns to Chicago last week. And so, again, New England's scouting that, knowing that perhaps they can pick up some yardage that way. And why not utilize a guy with the kind of experience that Cletus Jones has out of Florida State?
2nd down and less than a football, and utilized they do as Jones pops through. I think as coaches and teams become more acclimated to this game, and let's face it, these are the new 2 kids on the block, New England and New York. The top 2 teams in the league, Chicago and Pittsburgh, basically intact from last year. The other 2 teams, Detroit and L.A., made up of Washington and Denver players from the original 4 teams a year ago. These are the 2 brand new teams. These are the 2 teams and new coaches. And I think as we've seen the year move along, utilizing a run here or run there, kind of getting a little bit more of a blend into the offense. And maybe the run's going to be more of a part of this game than we originally thought. And here it is, 3 straight times. Cletus Jones wants the football. He gets the football. As 65, Quentin Knight, the man who is the second leading sacker in arena football, makes the tackle.
This was the angle that we had, the corner of the end zone down there. So this is what we would see. You can see it takes 4 guys. Vince Corbel diving in there. Quentin Knight as well. Now, when I came through the tunnel to get back to the elevator, Roger, Quentin Knight was limping out of the locker room. So he's in a certain amount of pain out there, yet he is playing. We also heard down on the field as we were coming up that Morrison, number 28, who we didn't think would really play, may in fact get out there. Badly bruised ribs, but may be able to play some more.
Absolutely. Slayton is in motion. 2nd down and 7. Deflected and intercepted by Lovelady. Edwin Lovelady brings it out to the 18-yard line. A penalty marker for a late hit is thrown. That'll go against New England, and that was a stupid penalty.
That was a frustration hit. And that's not going to... You've already given up the ball.
That was Joe Felton who went back to have a word with Burl Sorgan.
Now he's going to call the personal foul against New York. But there the ball is tipped right in the center of your screen, and the only man even near it. Guy's a real ball hawker. He is everywhere that ball is. Remember the touchdown? He was the one who was there.
Excuse me. It was number 65.
Diving in there trying to block late.
Let's see if we can see who got a step right in the middle.
Number 65 of the intercepting team. First down.
And here comes Quentin Knight. Now already Lovelady's down and just kind of spears. Yeah, just really pounds him. Joe Felton not happy about that at all.
That's what's over talking to Burl Sorgan.
Hey, Bo, did you see that? Of course I see the flag now.
So the interception. And then... Second interception of Harold Smith tonight. Thrown any touchdown passes. We'll be back to Madison Square Garden in a moment.
And I've owned Ford trucks for as long as I can remember. If somebody had told me 3 months I'd be driving a Chevy truck, well, I wouldn't have believed them. Well, I took a look at the truck, and they've totally redesigned the truck and test drove it. That would sell me on it. It's got the Vortec V6. It's got plenty of power. They've tough competition from Ford, and they've beat them.
That's today's Chevy truck.
Chevrolet's homework on this truck.
For sports news, turn to the experts. Experts who take you wherever sports happen, whatever time of day. ESPN Sports Center. America's sports home.
New England 19, New York 16, 27, the clock running. And first, 10, Krochickian going short. Let's take a look and see it up, Steve. Who got the deflection in the middle?
Yeah, we should be able to see it this time. How about Johnny Shepard, 32?
Yeah, maybe.
Hand up.
That's it.
32. Johnny Shepard. And the ball comes right to Lovelace.
That's the 14th interception when passed this year, and they lead the league in that category, which is not a good stat to lead.
No foul. Roughing the passer. Number 98 of the defense. First down.
There's an interesting call. Felton gets called for roughing the passer. Guy that Knight went in and took a spear at just a few moments ago.
Sounds like
New England's committed 25 turnovers, the most in the league. 14 interceptions now.
Sounds like baseball here. When they throw at your man, I'm going to throw at your guy.
Payback time.
Yeah.
Krochicki going underneath. Morrison has it in a punch. It's going to be short of the first down. I'll tell you what, Morrison, he's taking a look before he catches the football.
I don't know that he wanted to hold that ball, and he was lucky that it came right back to him and not into the hands of one of the New England Steamroller players. Keep your eye on 28 in the blue jersey. That's Pat Morrison out of Southern Connecticut State. He catches it. Ball bounces loose. He's trying to guard those ribs that he had badly bruised in the first half, and you can see him protecting his side.
He's like a heavyweight fighter who's taking a lot of shots to the body. He's keeping those elbows tucked down a little bit. Second down and 8, 7.5. Morrison's had a great two-way game tonight, and underneath again they go. And Hockaday makes the tackle. The receiver, Al Washington, from the University of Southern California. Washington, one of the real versatile players, can play defensive back, wide receiver, can also play quarterback if needed.
Al Washington was put on the inactive list last week. He was taxied for a game. Now, this is a guy who's one of the top two-way players on this New York team. No real indication as to whether there was a disciplinary problem or what, but Jim Valek, the coach of New York, just decided to sit him down for a week.
New England leads by 3, 19-16. It's third down and 2 yards to go. Washington was the man in motion. They go to him. You know, that play, Steve, has worked on more than one occasion where they take that man out of the slot, they bring him back around, and in arena football, you can move toward the line of scrimmage before the ball snap, and he's usually wide open.
Well, you've got to give a little bit of ground back there. You have to be aware, especially if you're number 45 in the white. That was Alvin Williams trying to guard against this guy because Al Washington has moves. He's got good speed, and he's proven through the course of the season, as we have seen him, that he can catch the ball in a crowd.
First and 10, Krochickia going to Bennett, and that's the first time we've mentioned Lewis Bennett's name, a 5'11", 175-pounder from Florida A&M. Getting back to Washington, I got to believe last week had to be maybe a disciplinary problem of sorts because the week before he had just a tremendous game, made something like 18, was in on 18 tackles, and for whatever reason, though, was taxied last week. And is just getting his first action tonight here in the second half.
Now, he's the kind of weapon that you've got to get into your offense. And so far tonight, we haven't called his name very often.
Krochickia to Bennett. There it is, and wide open. Boy, they went to him last time he was open, and they went right back to him again. So Lewis Bennett with the touchdown reception. And for Bennett, just his second touchdown catch of the year and his 8th reception.
46 on 46 to the right side of your screen. Actually, 46, who was supposed to be in there in the white jersey, David Henley, was nowhere to be found. And so Lewis Bennett, with the 6 points.
And the New York Knights jump out on top of the New England Steamrollers. And Cradaville misses the point after. And with 4:53 to go in the third, New York leads New England 22-19.
Burger King has been invaded by Alf puppets. Please help.
Hey, I'm hungry.
Just $2.99 and a flame broiled Whopper gets another Alf at his record. Out of our place and into yours.
We do it like you do it at Burger King.
Power, power, power.
Punch-Out by Nintendo. 11 world-class contenders. Take them down with your controller, beat them all, and you've got a shot at Tyson's title. But for that, you've got to beat Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
First, Gillette made shaving closer. Then we made it smoother. With Atra Plus, its Rubber Smooth Strip glides the razor over your face for Gillette's smoothest shave. The Atra Plus system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
Jim Krochickia with 3 touchdown passes, and the difference has been the quarterbacks. Krochickia 3 touchdown passes. Smith, on the other hand, has thrown a couple of interceptions. That's a live football, and it goes across the end line. And it'll be brought out to the 5-yard line. Steve, I'm wondering if we'll see a change of quarterback here for New England.
Well, they've got Paul Williams standing by, the young man out of Tarleton State in Texas. You know, Dave Perilli, as an old quarterback, he knows, and I don't mean that he's aged, but I mean as a former quarterback, and he's played a lot of places, he is the guy, the quarterback, that really keeps that team together. You start changing the quarterback, you really play with his psyche, and he hasn't played, Harold hasn't played, you know, horribly. He's thrown a couple of interceptions, but he's not played a horrible game.
But he doesn't even snap his chin strap. Rafferty makes the reception across the 10 to the 12-yard line. And Rafferty, you can see that taped right hand. He had a bit of a problem with that last week. And Stevie told you it's broken?
He's got a broken bone in his hand, but that was the least of his worries, actually. The final kickoff of the game, he was covering downfield on the kickoff for New England when a guy from Pittsburgh absolutely cleaned his plow. I mean, he did not see the shot shot coming, was knocked into the boards on the side, knocked out, sprained his neck, broke a bone in his hand, and so he's out there playing with it tonight.
Rafferty from Colgate as Gardner goes in motion. Smith finds Alvin Williams, and that'll be enough for a first down up to the 19-yard line. Alvin Williams, one of the main targets of Harold Smith tonight. It seems like Smith gets streaky, Steve. He really kind of finds one guy, and that's we haven't seen Hockaday tonight hardly at all.
Right. Now, I can't believe that New York can effectively take away a guy like Jim Hockaday for the entire game. You can't double team in this game, and whoever is going to cover Hockaday has got his hands full with a guy 6 feet 5 inches tall.
Gardner is in motion. And Smith looking deep to Gardner and nearly intercepted. Bennett, who just made the touchdown reception, was back covering and nearly came up with the interception on the pass intended for Brian Gardner.
Well, that's just not a very good throw by Harold Smith. He just didn't have a whole lot on that pass. As he drops back, lots of time to look. He should have thrown the ball 2 steps. Look at it float on him. Gave Bennett an opportunity. In fact, Bennett had a clear-cut interception. He should have made that reception.
He set a team record, Bennett, that is, last week with 9 tackles. He got his first start of the year in place of Lovelady, but back in a secondary position now. Good thing Lovelady's had a great night. Second down at 10, going deep to Williams. Touchdown! Harold Smith to Alvin Williams. Williams' 4th touchdown reception of the year. And from Smith, touchdown pass number 22.
Number 20 is going to be back defending. That's Al Washington. And Al just never finds the ball. And when he does, Alvin Williams is in position to make the catch. And too late for Alfonso Washington. Alvin Williams out of Texas Southern. And a great catch. Williams, nice job reacting to that ball. And a 31-yard touchdown reception.
And Williams is another one of those tracksters turned football players. So many versatile athletes in arena football. A lot of track guys, a lot of guys that played some basketball in college. As Ruoff is good on the point after. So the New England Steamrollers jump back on top, 26-22. And let's take a look from ground level.
You're seeing it here as the other players would be seeing it if you were in that end zone. And look at Alvin Williams just circle around back there. He's the one that found the ball first. He's the one that makes the catch.
So what's little dandruff?
Okay. Imagine you're at the social event of the year, and your dream girl says hello, just as you do this. Her first impression? What a hunk. Throw me a few flakes.
Give me a break.
The break's ours. Never get a second chance to make a first impression.
So?
The regular shampoos won't fix your problem. Try this.
Head and Shoulders? But you don't have dandruff.
Bingo.
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
1:39 left to go, third quarter. That clock runs continuously until the final minute of the game as Ruoff with a very long kickoff. That's a live football. Morrison picks it up. Morrison is tackled by Rafferty. Rafferty, pretty good special teams player at Colgate, comes down and makes the tackle at the 11-yard line as Morrison's trying to do a little bit of everything tonight. He's played some great defense. He's caught some passes offensively, and now makes a good play off the net.
You really have to be aware in this game as 2 New York players in position to catch it off the carom, yet it hits the metal structure and bounces straight down, and Morrison wisely picking it up and then making some pretty good yardage before Rafferty takes him down.
Korchickia out of the shotgun with Washington in motion. Washington makes the reception at the 15-yard line. Washington, the second leading receiver on this New York Knights team.
Take it down!
I'll tell you what, we've talked a little bit about, some of the different things about this game. Steve, one of the things I'd personally like to see is maybe about another 4 or 5 feet on the sidelines there so a receiver can fall down without having to worry about that neck and shoulder, because sometimes that can be a problem.
Well, it does not give very much. Trust me, I'm down there banging on it while I'm on the sideline.
Korchickia had 2 men down there. Bennett was one of them, number 46. and Washington the other receiver. I think Bennett was the primary target, and Washington might have strayed into the passing area as Krochickia let his team know exactly what he thought about that particular blown route.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is a winner out of Penn. He was undefeated in 1986. He knows what he wants at that quarterback spot, and what he didn't want was two guys running together in the very same area. And that's exactly as he walks off the field. As we wrap it up here in the third quarter, that's exactly what he's going to say to his coach, Jim Ballard.
Well, the Ivy Leaguer, Jim Krochickia, with 3 touchdown passes so far tonight. And his team, though, trailing by 4 as they head to the final 15 here at Madison Square Garden.
Burger King has been invaded by Alf puppets. Please help.
Hey, I'm hungry.
Just $2.99 and the flame broiled Whopper gets another Alf at his record. Out of our place and into yours.
We do it like you do it at Burger King.
How do we measure romance?
It's all a question of quantum physics and timing.
What does the future hold?
I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days.
Oh, my.
Where do pictures come from?
It was hopeless.
At last, a movie with all the answers. Kevin Costner. Susan Sarandon. Bull Durham. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Around a light here?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
Can the Lakers repeat as NBA champions? Not if a few other guys have their way. Anything can happen in the playoffs, and the NBA follows all the exciting action every Wednesday on ESPN.
What's the most convenient way to buy mutual funds? Ask a Schwab customer.
Mutual funds? I buy them over the phone from Schwab. Schwab's list of funds reads like a who's who of mutual fund families. Over 250 funds, all in one place.
Nobody else gives me a better choice of funds or an easier way to buy them.
Buying mutual funds used to be a hassle, but with letter writing and signature guarantees. Now, for a small fee, I buy all my mutual funds from Schwab.
At Schwab, I can switch investments whenever I want, over the phone.
For a free booklet on Schwab's Mutual Fund Marketplace, call toll-free 800-527-6500. That's 800-527-6500. Call now.
Celebrities in the crowd. Jeremiah Enright, Director of Public Relations for Arena Football, and a big help to us. Good guy. Glad to see him here tonight as Krochickia finds his man. Corville has enough for the first down at the 23-yard line where Jim Hockaday makes the tackle, and I think I'd call Hockaday's name more on defense than on offense.
You have indeed. 3 catches for 36 yards.
As we take a look, New England and New York at 1-6. 4 teams make the playoffs, 12 games, and LA at 3-5. And one of these teams will have 2 wins after night and still have a chance as Corville takes the inside route. And I'll tell you what, he stepped out of bounds, and if he hadn't, it was see you later. Because he is the fastest player in arena football.
We're talking Mousketeer time here. This is a guy that played in Mouse Davis's run-and-shoot style system.
We're talking turning on the jets and looking at the afterburners.
That's right.
There's a paper trail right there.
34 over on the left of your screen. Catch the ball in his hands first off. Now, great move. Ooh!
Yeah, he put his hand on the board.
Just barely stepped on that line, though.
He was gone.
Hey, number 46, David Henley, defensive specialist. Better start getting his arms wrapped up around a guy like Corville because you're not going to bring him down with a little bitty shoulder tackle.
Second down. 8 yards to go. Corville's in motion to the near side. Krochickia going to Lovelady. Great defensive play by Brian Gardner. Gardner, who is one of the top 10 receivers in arena football, 10th to be exact, shows you that he can play the defense too.
This guy was an all-around athlete in high school, and again, these are the kind of athletes that you find in arena football, guys that can do it all. Look at him time that jump, just tip it away at the very last second. And Edwin Lovelady, who's already been in there a couple of times making the key catch for New York, just could watch that ball be tipped away.
Prairie View A&M. They've turned some speedsters out through the years.
They have.
Third down and 8. Hunter's the motion man. Krochickia goes to him, and defensively Alvin Williams. As Morrison catches the deflection, but Alvin Williams and Gardner, two guys that have really shown a lot offensively, come up with a couple of big defensive plays.
And again, both a couple of track-type fellas. Here's Krochickia now, from the ground level. A little wobble on that pass. As Hunter is there. It looked like he got there almost pretty close. Maybe a split second before the ball got there.
41-yard field goal attempt for Cradaville. Good hold. Plenty of distance. Just wide. That's a live ball. And New England is able to fall on it.
Well, it's scary. Every time they kick that ball, it's scary when it comes bouncing off that net.
12:21 left to go in this game, and New York with a 4-point deficit against New England.
Yes, I'd like 2 of those pizzas. Those pizzas? They'll be $17.99. $17.99? But it says $10.99. Not for those pizzas. How can that be? I think if you refer to the fine print. Fine print? Not vendor responsible.
May I help you?
Who are you? I'd like to introduce our corporate attorney. He's here on a regular basis. No, I'm not surprised.
At Little Caesars, you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price.
Pizza.
Only at Little Caesars.
The clock will run continuously in this fourth quarter until the final minute, when it will stop on incomplete passes and out of bounds. Along with Steve Rabel, I'm Roger Twybo. Madison Square Garden in New York. We've gone past the halfway point of this 1988 arena football season, and a very crucial game for these two teams currently at the bottom of the league at 1-6. Harold Smith finds Hockaday, and Hockaday up to the 14-yard line. We had just mentioned, Steve, I had called his name more defensively than offensively, just his 4th catch of the night. And when you consider that Jim Hockaday, out of the University of Georgia, came into this game with over 40 receptions this year.
And 11 touchdowns, which really lets you know what an important part of this offense he is for New England. As a matter of fact, the next closest receiver coming into the game was Gardner with just 24. So Hockaday, when you shut him out, you're shutting down an awful lot of the Steamroller offense.
Cletus Jones across the 15, his 10th rush of the night. He is now over 45 yards in rushing, and Cletus Jones could very possibly be closing in on some rushing records here this evening, as that's been a big part of the New England offense. We heard one of the line judges take a look at Rick Puccinelli.
Come up. Come on now. Alex, come on now, buddy. Make a play. Make a play.
Talking about Alec Gibson.
Come on now. Come on now.
In contrast to his head coach, Jim Ballack, who's
82 is Gibson. He's the down man to the left at the top of your screen. Smith going to Hockaday. Great play by Hockaday. Hockaday came back to make the reception. Hunter was the man that he beat. And that's just a heads-up play by a wide receiver.
Take a look at Harold Smith looking downfield. I think he knew where he wanted to go the whole way. Finding his man, Hockaday. Stan Hunter, who is in on the defense in the blue jersey 84, just doesn't find the ball soon enough, and Hockaday's right there to make the catch. And look, as a good receiver will do, watch Hockaday reach up and catch that ball right there in his hands. Reach out and catch it in front of him.
Cletus Jones, the running back, 1st and goal. And a whistle and some movement.
21 on defense. Illegal defense is encroachment, the linebacker. So it's just the half. You're inside the down lineman's behind number 21. Come on.
Edwin Lovelady will get the official call here from Earl Sorgan.
Billy
illegal defense by the linebacker. Half the distance to the goal line, no play, still first down.
It's interesting to note that you get to the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, Hockaday is the man they start throwing it to.
Sure, it makes a lot of sense. Edwin Lovelady there, number 21. He got into the area. You can't, as a linebacker, get any closer to the line of scrimmage than the back end of your defensive player.
Harold Smith, he sneaks it across. Touchdown, New England.
Taking no chances this time. Harold Smith and the New England offense.
For Harold Smith, his first rushing touchdown of the year.
Boy, that was a rocket spike.
Well, that was one of the highest spikes that I've ever seen. And Babe Pirelli.
And the spike bounced into the stands, and a fan walks away with that. And Babe Pirelli, he's got to be saying to himself, boy, now, if we can just hang on. We were in this position last week, and we let it slip away from us.
Ruoff in to attempt the point after. .32-22. And that's good. And with 8:59 left to go in the fourth quarter. 33-22. New England leads New York.
Thanks again, boys, and keep the change. You hear all this nonsense about Kellogg's Frosted Flakes being just for kids. Well, I, for one, eat them, and I'm going to go right on eating them. Frosted Flakes just for kids? Come on. Like we adults have to go sneaking around. Like we can't love these crisp, sweet flakes just as much as kids. Who is it?
You just have to admit it. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
The boys of summer are at it again. Stay in the swing of things with Major League Baseball Magazine every Monday on ESPN.
Roger Twibell, Steve Rabel, back with you at Madison Square Garden in New York. I tell you, this place has a nice setting for arena football. As Russ Berry, the owner of the New York Knights, probably wondering right now why he's an owner of a football team. Huh? His team's 1-6, and they're down by 11 in the fourth quarter.
Difficult position to be in, both as owner and as coach.
Well, you know, most people in this life who have enough money to own a pro sports franchise are obviously winners in one way or another and have been used to being very successful. And it's got to be very difficult for them to sit back and watch something that is not going according to plan. As you take a look at the rushing yardage here, New England 49 yards. Of course, Cletus Jones at all but about one of those since Harold Smith took one in, and 3 rushing touchdowns.
And you know, New York, who started out running the ball and with some success, has done almost nothing here in the later stages of the game.
Krochickia, I was going to say intercepted, and Hockaday has never dropped a pass in his hands like that, I can guarantee you, before. But as a defensive player, he probably saw the opportunity for his first interception for a touchdown.
Yeah, it didn't surprise him. He was right there. I think he was looking at all the green he had in front of him to run for 6 points, and he's on the ground saying, oh, Vince, I hope you're not watching down in Georgia right now.
Krochickia, and it's a loose ball. They're going to say, no, that was an incomplete pass.
His arm was moving forward.
Yes, it was.
And, he took a wicked shot.
Well, he was going for Corville, and he might have had him.
I don't know, something about this New York team. Last week, 56 or something unanswered points to Chicago. Hang close for a while and then are just unable to capitalize on their opportunity.
They've got a 3rd down and 10 now, and instead they were successful earlier when they were going under the defense, when they were throwing it under. Now they're just dropping back and going deep. And there you go. Krochickia overthrows Hunter as number 54 for New England. That was Kevin Murphy, who's one of the top sackers for the New England Steamrollers, was all over him like a bad rash. And so now on 4th down at the 5-yard line, Cradaville will come in. And We've got just under 7 minutes left to go, and if this score would remain the same, all of a sudden that New England-LA game we have next Saturday night looms much larger. Certainly does. Cradaville, this is 4 yards deep in the end zone, so it's 54 and 8, 62 yards. But he's just trying to get it down over the head of Slayton, who takes it at the 2. And gets it to the 9, where Stan Hunter, who's had himself a pretty good game from Bowling Green University in Ohio, makes the tackle. We'll be back to Madison Square in New York right after this.
Introducing Stanley cordless tools with power that won't quit. Because unlike many other cordless tools, the new Stanley cordless drill and cordless screwdriver are designed with removable, rechargeable battery packs. So the only time they stop working is when you do.
You're looking at Marcus Zale, who last week came in against Chicago and had himself a pretty good game. A newcomer to the New York Knights out of Montclair State in New Jersey, 6'3" and 220. Good-looking athlete, Steve.
Looks like a tight end down there during the pregame warm-up. Big, strong kid, big upper body. Looks like he does a lot of weightlifting.
Works for the New Jersey Nets. Harold Smith, Hockaday, and Hockaday's dropped 2 in a row that he should have caught. And Hockaday's pointing back to the defensive man, and that was Rex Moats, saying Moats maybe hit him early. Sometimes the defensive back will sneak up, and he has that one hand up, and he gets the other one right in the small of your back.
I think a good defensive back is going to do that. I don't care what any coach says. A good defensive back is taught to do that. As Babe Pirelli chats with his owner down there, co-owner Frank Russo.
I wonder if Frank's any happier this week than he was last week when he was down on the sideline.
It was a bitter defeat for everybody, owners included, for that.
I don't know, maybe Frank's sending the plays in tonight. Smith throws, and he's got Slayton. And that Aggie takes it at the 11-yard line. And those Aggies are tough, aren't they?
Oh, a little Southwest Conference here. Why not? So New England going to be try to confidently move the ball downfield here a little bit. Mainly what they want to do is keep control of that ball. I think they'd love to see a new quarterback come in for New York and try to start all over again.
Well, you notice that they haven't rushed the ball here with less than 5 minutes to go now in the football game. And one of the reasons is because the main man, Cletus Jones, is not in there right now. Joe Williams, 88, is the running back. As Slayton goes in motion now on 3rd down and 8. Lots of time for Smith. Finally, he just throws it up, and that was a good play by quarterback Harold Smith. Goodness, he had all day. That's about as much time as I've ever seen any quarterback have in this league.
When Babe Pirelli and I were talking prior to the game, he was talking about the great quarterbacks, and he mentioned the Marinos and the Namaths. These were guys that didn't get sacked very often and didn't throw many interceptions because they knew how to throw that ball away. And that's something that his quarterback, Harold Smith, is learning, and especially after last week, unable to throw that ball away, and it cost New England the game.
Timeout for 17 as New England will take one of their 3 here in the second half.
Burger King has been invaded by Alf puppets. Please help. Hey, I'm hungry. Just $2.99 and a flame broiled Whopper gets another Alf at his record out of our place and into yours.
We do it like you do it at Burger King.
I should have bought a Frigidaire.
There's only one Frigidaire.
I should have bought a Frigidaire.
Ask for it by name.
I'll take the Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire. Here today, here tomorrow.
New England leads at 33-22. Babe Pirelli took a timeout here with 4:17 left to go in this game, Steve. And the ball at the 11-yard line, 4th down. And call it 8. And Bernie Ruoff has come in now. And Harold Smith will hold it at the 3.
I think he just wanted to talk to Bernie and to Harold to make sure everybody's on the same page here and ask him, Bernie, do you think you can make it? If you do, go for it.
55 yards on the field goal attempt. And it's short. Not by much. Not by much at all.
Quite the character, Bernie Ruoff. Years and years in the CFL. Helped lead Hamilton to the Grey Cup in 1986. Played out his option up there, although he still lives in Ontario. Raises Russian wolfhounds on his farm.
New quarterback now for the New York Knights, and that's the man that we just talked about a few moments ago. As Mark Casal comes in, he made his arena debut against Chicago last Monday. Completed 7 of 8 for 91 yards. Previously had some experience with the Bears and Dolphins. Played in the CFL for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts. Corville, and watch this speed to the outside. Vince Corville finally run out of bounds at the 20-yard line on an outstanding defensive effort. Back there was Alvin Williams, who really stopped the touchdown as Corville had the outside.
Boy, this is a great play by Corville, and only a guy with this kind of speed can make this play happen. Look at him cut against the grain and just run away from everybody. Now, he's getting a pretty good block from Al Washington out there, who stayed with it, and Corville stepping out of bounds. Boy, what a move by Corville.
Corville again. And he's to the 12. Now, you see what Casal's doing. He's throwing underneath, Steve. He's going to Corville, the quickest guy. And you can't play Corville too tight. Then when you lay off of him, then he's got all that great speed, and then you got to try to catch him.
Sure. It's a no-win situation if you're a defensive back. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of these guys playing defense or offensive players, it's toughen up.
Corville again. And he's to the 6 now. 2:56 left to go. That's enough for the first down. And this is the area in arena football that drives the offensive coordinators nuts because it's so tough to score. 8-yard end zone. You're looking at 13 yards to work with there.
And the time, a big factor here, being 11 points down for New York. They've got to get on the board this time.
Going the end. Washington. Touchdown. Beautiful catch by Al Washington. And I want to tell you something. Casal from Montclair State, all he did was come in and complete every pass and move him right down the field.
Boy, how about that for a welcome into this evening's game. Casal doing a great job with his control passing game. Could have put a little more arc on this pass, but Al Washington, aware of where he was on the field, keeps his feet down, concentrates on the ball, and picks up another 6 for New York.
So Casal, who signed on June 2nd, look at the move here. That ball hit the helmet of Henley. Hit the helmet.
Great concentration. Now for 2 points goes New York.
33-28. They go for 2. No good. That's all right, because they score one more time, and that gives them 34-33.
Mark Casal, who works for the New Jersey Nets of the NBA as a sales rep.
And I don't know where he went, but he just came off the field and went up the tunnel.
Yeah, I was watching that myself. I wonder if he's going to go get a drink of water or something.
And Krochicki just followed him.
Follows him up.
Maybe Krochicki is upset about him coming in and doing so. They're going to go talk about it in the tunnel.
What a lift, though, for this New York team.
1:48 left to go. Jim Valek and his defensive coordinator, Rick Puccinelli.
Can you put Lovelady back in after that?
No, you can't put him in after that. Now, they're talking about substitutions, which is something that can be rather confusing. Good high kickoff as Gardner takes it. Breaks a 2, 3, 4 tackles. He fumbles the football. And Felton is there. Joe Felton, 98 from Little Albion College in Michigan. Falls on it at the 10-yard line. And with 1 minute and 33 seconds left to go, New England nursing a 5-point lead. And keep in mind, in the final minute, the clock stops on incomplete passes and out of bounds.
Take a look at Brian Gardner from Prairie View A&M. Watch this run back there. Breaking 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, 4 tackles. Finally, they wrap him up, knock the ball loose. Joe Felton, if he ever had any speed in those legs, used every bit of it on that play to recover that fumble.
There's a look at Harold Smith, quarterback from Texas Southern, as he goes over to see his coach, Babe Perilli. The top team, of course, in arena football, undefeated, is the Chicago Bruisers. They are at 7-0. But the game here tonight, New England and New York, 1-6. Monday night, Pittsburgh will play Chicago, and Pittsburgh still with a chance to earn the top spot. Detroit looking real good at 5-3 after beating Los Angeles 2 in a row. New England plays Los Angeles at home next week, so what a big game that'll be next Saturday night if New England can hold on here, and that's the question. Can they hold on? Will they show us an aggressive posture here, Steve, with 1:33 left to go? Will they have Cletus Jones run the football? Be sure to be with us 8:30 Eastern time next Saturday night, Arena Football here on ESPN. And hope you've been able to catch some of this 50-yard war on the floor, as they call it.
War on the floor with the boards and the nets and the two-way football, and always exciting action. And we'll see if Harold Smith, as you said, can control this offense. The clock will stop at 1 minute to go, and then we'll stop after every incompletion or out of bounds after that. But the clock will run till that time.
Gardner's in motion. 1st and 10 from the 10, and it's complete. Alvin Williams, 45, and New York takes a timeout.
That was a kick. Yeah, I got it. Oh.
And Williams just said, that was a catch. I caught it, man. He said, I know that. We got it under control.
Second down.
So, Cuccinelli, the defensive coordinator.
You all right? Talking to his guys down there, finding out who feels good. What do you want? And Babe Torelli talking with his quarterback, Harold Smith. I think it's a real tribute to Babe, showing confidence in Harold Smith. I mean, a lot of people were down on Harold after that throw last week. And now he's telling him, just protect that ball. If it means throwing it away, baby, throw it up in the stands. Give it to a fan, but don't give it back to New York. Rick Cuccinelli looking for his defense to stop somebody right here. Stop New England.
Second down and 6. Smith has Hockaday across midfield at the 24-yard line. And the clock will tick down now to the 1-minute mark. So I'll tell you what, who have they gone to in the 4th quarter?
We talked about it in the 3rd quarter. We thought they forgot about Hockaday. And, you know, with this two-way football, maybe you try to save your guys a little bit, pull them out, get him some rest. But at this point in the game, this is the guy you want in that football contest. Again, with the substitution rule the way it is, you can only be substituted for once a quarter.
Rex Moats made the tackle there. And New England will send Smith back out.
It's tough for me to stay close to the action these days, especially since I'm used to being the action. But now, I found the best way to stay on top of basketball and all my favorite sports is by reading the Sporting News, America's sports authority. The Sporting News keeps me fully informed and up to date. Puts me right in the center of the action. Whether your game is hoops or hockey, football or baseball, the Sporting News brings you the most coverage and the best coverage week after week. So the Sporting News, no matter where you are, puts you right in the center of the action.
Call 1-800-626-8300. That's 1-800-626-8300 and get 55 big issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of just $7.50. You'll save 75% off the cover price, save 50% off the regular subscription rate. So call now 1-800-626-8300. That's 1-800-626-8300.
Roger Schwabo, Steve Rabel back with you. Madison Square Garden, New York. 1 minute left to go. The clock will stop now on out of bounds and incomplete passes. 33-28. New England with the lead. And Cletus Jones doesn't get much. Maybe a couple of yards as he stretches forward to the 22-yard line.
But he also doesn't go out of bounds wisely. And that clock just keeps running against New York till now. Well, they keep letting it run.
I'm trying to find the timeouts, and I think they have just one left. I think New York has just one timeout left. It's 27 and 13 on the respective clocks. They could very well not have a timeout left, Steve.
I would expect they'd call it had they had one.
Cletus Jones. And he's inside the 20. Yep. That's it. No timeouts, obviously. And Babe Parilli got to be one happy man. And a couple of guys with New England Patriot connections. Jim Valek, the head coach of New York. Babe Parilli, the head coach of New England Steamrollers. New England wins it 33-28. And our Iron Man, our Little Caesars Pizza Iron Man player of the game is Cletus Jones, who had himself a great night rushing the football. There's a look at him from Florida State University. Look at the guns on that guy, will you? He looked like some arms.
Station wagon, this guy.
I'll tell you, that was a big difference tonight. The ability for New England to run the football, 12 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. And once again, we're pleased to announce the Cletus Jones, the Little Caesars Pizza Iron Man player of the game. Final, New England 33, New York 28. We'll be back to Madison Square Garden in New York in just a moment.
Pizza price of one.
Don't think of it as one pizza. Think of it as one pizza and one box.
What am I going to do with a box?
Ever hear of origami?
What's that?
A pterodactyl.
A what?
At Little Caesars, you never get just one pizza. You get
Pizza.
2 great pizzas for one low price.
Run a light here?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
Because everything else is just a light.
You know what really burns me up? My feet. Athlete's foot kept flaring up. I get rid of it for a while, but it just flare up again. Finally went to the doctor. He told me to get Tenactin. It's what doctors and pharmacists recommend most. Tenactin even cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly like they tell you. It'll keep the fly from coming back.
Fast-acting Tenactin puts athlete's foot out for good.
If I don't get a good start in the morning, I might feel peaked. I hate that.
Wheaties, 100% whole wheat, naturally low in sugar. That's champion nutrition.
What the big boys eat.
The days of the unreachables are over. Metro Media Paging announces the Reachable System. Call 1-800-437-BEEP and join the Reachables.
This is ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York, where tonight the New England Steamrollers have defeated the New York Knights 33-28. And I'll tell you what, it's a good thing they've got the New York Knights, because it's the second time New England has beaten them this year, and what a big victory it was for Babe Parilli. If you were with us last week, of course, you saw that heartbreaking defeat in Providence against Pittsburgh. But tonight they got off to a great start as Murphy recovered the kick off the net. Fumbled by Corville in the end zone. Murphy was able to fall on it, and Kevin Murphy out of Boston University got New England off to a good start with a 6-0 lead. But then Krochicki heated things up, and he found Edwin Lovelady on a 19-yard touchdown pass, and Cradaville kicked the point after. New York had a 7-6 lead. And a little bit later, New England, who had a very productive night rushing, got a rushing touchdown from Big Joe Williams, 6'4", 240 pounds, and they led 13-7. And that would be a sign of things to come for the New England Steamrollers, because in the second quarter, Cletus Jones, who was our Little Caesars Ironman player of the game, on a 3-yard touchdown run, New England led it 19-7. Cradaville came through with a 43-yard field goal to make it 19-10. And then Krochicki to Lovelady, 42 yards on the touchdown pass, and New England had just a 3-point lead. In the third quarter, Bennett from Krochipia, and New York jumped out on top 22-19. It looked as though they had captured the momentum. But Williams caught a 31-yard touchdown pass from Harold Smith. Smith, who'd had a dismal first half, had thrown a couple of interceptions, finally found one. And then Smith on a 1-yard touchdown run, New England 33-22. And then Casal came in and just drove the New York Knights in a hurry down the field. Found Washington, 6-yard touchdown pass. That made it 33-28. But New York running out of timeouts, defense not able to hold, and that's the way the game would end, 33-28. And we'll return to Madison Square Garden in New York with more in just a moment.
Since you don't buy a refrigerator every day,
I finally got a Frigidaire.
ask for the one that lasts and lasts.
I should have bought a Frigidaire. I finally got a Frigidaire.
For the Frigidaire dealer nearest you, call 1-800-451-7007.
I'll take the Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire, here today, here tomorrow.
Yes, I'd like 2 of those pizzas. Those pizzas? They'll be $17.99. $17.99? But it says $10.99. Not for those pizzas. How can that be? Think if you refer to the fine print. Fine print? Not vendor responsible.
May I help you?
Who are you?
I'd like to introduce our corporate attorney. He's here on a regular basis.
No, I'm not surprised.
At Little Caesars, you always get 2 great pizzas for one low price.
Pizza, pizza.
Only at Little Caesars.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Once again, final score, 33-28. The New England Steamrollers now move the record to 2-6, and that sets up the game next weekend against the Los Angeles Cobras. As we take a look now at Harold Smith, who was 18 of 29, 190 yards, and his only touchdown pass of the night to Alvin Williams, number 45, as Williams beats Washington, curls back in, and Williams with the touchdown catch, and standing by with Steve Rabel right now is the man who made that reception, Alvin Williams.
Thank you, Roger, and we'll let him take a look at it in just a second. Alvin Williams, congratulations. You come up and you get your second win of the season, and it has to feel good to come to New York and finally get a win.
Yes, it definitely does feel good to come up and get this win, and now that we know that if we go back down and win the next game we have at home, it'll put us in the playoffs, and that's what we're working on.
That's got to be the thing that really keeps you guys going at this point. I mean, a 1-6 record coming in, not something that you want to really point to and be proud of, but
right.
Knowing that you still have a shot at the playoffs keeps everybody happy.
Definitely, because if we go back and win this game, it'll definitely set us out and put us more on the top of being, in that run with Chicago, because we've just been beating ourselves most of the games that we've been playing.
Tonight, not a whole lot of mistakes, couple of interceptions, but a great catch, and specifically one that you made, sliding across the end zone to make that catch. Maybe we can take a look at it again before things are all over again. But what are you thinking on that play?
Well, all I'm thinking is touchdown, hold on to the ball. It was exciting, just to see the ball go in there and me going, adjusting to the ball. It made me feel good to see that I had it under control and everything and making a good catch.
All right, watch your quarterback, Harold Smith, drop back. And as he looks downfield, it looked like the ball sailed a little to the inside, but you adjusted well.
Yeah, he told me to just go to the ball.
And that's exactly what you did, beating Al Washington in the end zone. Al throws his hands up and said, ooh, Alvin Williams had a touchdown on me. Now, how difficult is it, the two-way football?
Well, it's not too difficult. It just brings back the whole high school days where you have to go 2 ways, the same thing, and it's not too much different from there.
All right, congratulations on a great victory.
Thank
you. 2-6. Continue good luck against Los Angeles next week.
Yes, that's what it is, Los Angeles.
All right, Alvin Williams, thanks much. Let's go back upstairs to Roger.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Chicago unbeaten. They'll play Pittsburgh on Monday night. Detroit 5-3, LA 3-5, and New England now will meet Los Angeles next Saturday night here on ESPN, and New England still with a heartbeat for the playoffs.
Presenting the G-Shock watch from Casio. The water-resistant sports watch that's ready for action. With a built-in shock absorber. It's tough. So tough, this G-Shock can take a slap in the face and not even flinch. The Casio G-Shock, one tough watch to beat. The G-Shock is only one of Casio's unbeatable high-tech products.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. As Babe Pirelli Combs is here, congratulations. You'll win one tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, it came hard. We don't make them easy. I'll tell you, it's been a nail-biter every game.
I've got to ask you, did you come out planning to run as much as you did?
Well, we thought we could run on first down because they laid off. Yes, we did.
All right, Babe. We've got to run. Again, congratulations to you. Next week we see you against Los Angeles.
Well, we'll be there. Thank you, Steve.
All right, Babe. Thank you.
So, Babe Pirelli, a much relieved head coach as he gets his second victory of the year. 33-28. Once again, the final score from Madison Square Garden in New York. And once again, let's check those updated arena football standings, if we could. Chicago on top, and once again, we will be in Providence next week, L.A. and New England. Tonight's game has been